Tribune. 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 I present to you the top 10 weirdest looking dinosaurs. I want to state the obvious and tell you that I'm going to be butchering the names of these dinosaurs.
Butchering the names of these dinosaurs.
In at number 8, we have the Tradoon.
In 1856, the fossilized teeth of a small dinosaur were discovered in Montana. The species was aptly named Troodon, which means wounding teeth.
Tradoon.
When evolution passed out the stealth gene, Troodons lucked out.
Tradoon.
This drawer contains almost all of the North American identified specimens of Troodon.
Troodon was every inch the predator, with razor-sharp serrated teeth and large, hook-like claws. Troodon probably fed on our ancestors, the early mammals. Troodon may have posed a greater threat to mammals than any other predator on Earth. Troodon was suddenly cut down in its prime.
Tradoon.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing. It's really good to see all of you here today, and we have got some exciting stuff to discuss, and to 3D print, and... oh man, it's gonna be a good stream. I can feel it. Yeah. I can feel it. I know we've got some cool stuff to cover, that's why I'm saying that. Anyway, welcome everybody to Paleontologizing. If it's anybody's very first time today, then an extra special welcome to you. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I dig up dinosaurs and other fossil critters across the western United States with various museums. I publish on dinosaurs. Now I talk about them 5 days a week right here on Twitch. So if you have any questions about dinosaurs, about natural history, about the history of life on our incredible, amazing planet, don't be shy with those questions. You ask them. It's the whole point of these broadcasts, you know? This is me trying to do science outreach. Trying to talk to anyone and everyone who will listen about fossil science. Trying to give you an inside peek into how paleontology works, you know? So I'm really glad you're here. On today's broadcast, we're going to be talking about this really cool new paper that just came out. This sort of thing is right up my alley. We're going to be talking about dinosaur behavior, and what we can infer from modern animals with similar morphologies. It's going to be really, really cool. Kind of using birds to unlock some of the mysteries of dinosaur anatomy. And, we're going to be doing some 3D printing, too, continuing our baby Triceratops. But before we get to that, let's see who's here in chat, and we'll say hello. And we'll do some greetings. Kodali 2010 appears to have been first today. Oh, Chris TS actually was first today, and resubscribed. That's odd. Let's see about the turning hotkeys off for OBS. Shouldn't be doing that. How are you doing, Chris TS? Thank you for the 5 months of support. Thank you, Kodali, for being here. Good to see you. I hope all is well. Layer T, welcome Welcome, Layer T. I hope you are doing well today. Kodali says, I missed the end of stream last night and was watching it. I hope you enjoyed it, Kodali. Yeah. And I do use VLC. Fubar had stopped working with the integrated controls for Stream Deck, so I tried to get that working for VLC, and that's not working either. So if you see me fumbling with audio stuff today, that's what's going on. Yeah. And let's see here. Jody Fish, good afternoon to you too, Jody. Welcome, welcome. Good to see ya. The Lenina, howdy to you. Hope you're doing well, Lenina. Thank you for everything that you do. A tireless supporter and moderator for this channel. Appreciate you, Lenina. Yeah. How's my desktop audio volume, by the way? Is the music about right volume? I had to tinker with the VLC settings earlier, so let me know. Science Streams, how are you doing, Valent? Great to see you. It was wonderful being able to raid you last night. I hope you're doing really well. Hope you and Lita are feeling as prepared as you can be for the new baby. Congratulations in advance. It's gonna be a lot of work, but holy cow, are you two gonna be great parents? I can't wait for you. Allie J, how are you doing? Great to see you, Allie J. Welcome back. It's always lovely to see you. Arle, Tradoon to you too. How you doing, Arle? Welcome back to Paleontologizing. Hope you've been having a good day so far. Who else have we got? Sea Frog. Howdy to you. Welcome, Sea Frog. Great to see ya. Smorphosaurus has also arrived. I'm glad to see it, Smorph. Welcome back. And Travel the World is here too. How are you doing, Travel? Glad you could be here. Why does that keep doing that? Give me a second here. Let's see. There we go. Sorry. Hopefully, we fixed it. Okay. Live broadcast here, everybody. So you know it's live. That and the interactivity, you know? Anyway, great to see you, Travel. I'm glad you could make it today, Travel the World. Welcome. Creatrix Brit, how are you doing, Creatrix Brit? Hang on, did your name change recently, Creatrix Brit? Are you the same Brit that I've rated before? Let me know. And thank you for your tweet earlier, Brit. It's good to see you. Panthapire, how are you doing? Welcome, Panthapire. Neolithic, howdy to you. I hope you are having a hunky-dory day so far. It's good to see you. And NP4 Nuclear, how are you doing? I dig that Komodo hype emote. How you doing, Nuclear? Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Who else have we got here? Let's see. Victorious. A Tradunshin unlike any other. Victorious. I just got that now. Good to see you, Victorious. Dismodus, what's shaking with you? Good to see you. Dorkalotl, how are you doing, my friend? It is great to see you. I hope things are good. Yeah. Good to see you, Dorkalotl. Texas Cryptid, howdy to you. All right, making my way down through chat. We do have some new alerts today, so we'll see if any of those end up getting fired in a good way. The alerts end up getting, you know, they fire. We'll see about that. Keep Coding Steph is here. How are you doing, Steph? Good afternoon to you too. What's shaking? I'm glad you could make it today. Yeah, thank you for all of your hard work on the Twitch platform. I see that wrench badge. Thanks for making this such a wonderful venue for science outreach. Appreciate you, Steph. Thanks for being here. Mayor Space is here too. How are you doing, Mayor Space? Welcome. Check Morticia. Howdy. Maskling, I hope you are doing well. It's good to see you. Barnacle Bum says hi and sounds good. Appreciate that, Barnacle Bum. Yeah. Travel the World says great. Good. I'm glad the volume level is good. I added an extra equalizer in VLC, so hopefully we don't have big, disparities in volume between different tracks, but we'll see. Anne-Marie K. Author, se dice hola. Y hola, hola a ti también. And Marie, welcome back. It's good to see you. Yeah. How is my Tuesday? It's been a lovely Tuesday so far. Yeah. I went to the grocery store this morning, worked on some science stuff, did some correspondence, made some new alerts, did some chores, and enjoyed the rain and the hail and the thunder and lightning outside. It's been a pretty lively day here in the San Francisco Bay Area, weather-wise, which we don't get very often, so that was pretty cool. First time I've heard thunder in the Bay Area in, like, maybe a year or two. I enjoy it. It's really nice. We don't get enough of that here. KJ Dub says, hello, Danny. Right back at you, KJ Dub. It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And Moonrise Rabbit says, I just got off work. Feels like I'm still asleep. Do you sleep for work, Moonrise Rabbit? Wait, I don't understand. Anyway, welcome, Moonrise Rabbit. It's good to have you here. Yeah. Just working and enjoying streams? Glad to hear it. Keep coding, Steph. That's pretty awesome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you popping in and saying hello. Yeah, thank you for doing what you do. And, having surgery tomorrow. Nothing serious, no worries. Okay, Dorkalotl, good. Spent today getting things ready around the house for me to be laid up on the couch for a few days. Happy to vibe here for a while. I'm happy to have you vibe here for a while, Dorkalotl. I'll probably be streaming early tomorrow and Thursday. That's the plan anyway. So hopefully I can make some of your couch time a little bit more paleontological. I don't know. It's great to have you here, Dorkalotl. It's great to have you here. And Travel the World says, I really like your streaming space. It looks amazing. Thank you, Travel. Thank you kindly. I'm going to be working on this soon, too. In fact, we're going to be getting a brand new dinosaur skeleton up there next week, which I'm very excited about. We're going to have a brand new baby Triceratops skeleton. And I will be printing the last of that today. I'll go get the 3D printer fired up in just a minute. But, yeah, our baby trike is going to look like this. So far, I have all of the parts printed, I think, except for, whoops, the intervertebral discs and the neural spines on the caudal vertebrae. So basically the little spaces in between the tailbones, in between the tail vertebrae. And the, yeah, so the neural spines are going to go up there. I think we already have the caudal chevrons printed. Pretty sure. Yeah, here, let me show you. Hang on a second. Yeah, there we go. Actually, I guess we're printing the chevrons. The chevrons are the little bones that hang down from the underside of the tail. Those are called the chevrons. And these are all of the tail vertebrae right here. Already completed. Just gotta clear away the supports from these. And, yeah. We're planning on assembling this next Tuesday. There's our schedule right there. So next Tuesday, Triceratops assembly. And man, it's gonna be mid-January already next week. That's nuts. Huh. Years going by quickly already. Anyway, let's get the 3D printer fired up, and let's print the last of our Triceratops bones. Yeah. And, let's see here in the catch-up too. Gonna be lurking, writing, and oh, very nice, Anne-Marie. Very, very cool. Can I hear the thunder? Asked Mayor of Space. You better run. You better take cover. Wise words, Mayor of Space. Yeah. And what does the flint do on the 3D printer? Flint? What do you mean flint, Travel? I don't have any flint on there that I know of. Yeah. And Chris TS, yeah, we're going to assemble the whole baby Triceratops skeleton next week. I'm excited. Anyway, let's get the thing fired up, and let's start some printing. Yeah. Let me go do that right now. The bed is heating right now. I already have the files all sliced and rendered and everything. They're already on the SD card, plugged into the machine. So now we just wait for it to stir to life. And once I hear it going, I'll switch the camera again so you can see it. But it's going to be pretty exciting. If you've never seen a Triceratops skeleton assembled before your very eyes, make sure you tune in next Tuesday, the 17th. It's gonna be a good time. Which I suppose is Wednesday for you Australians and other folks, but it's Tuesday here in the San Francisco Bay Area. So, yeah. Anyway, it's gonna be a good time, and I hope you can make it. But anyway. And hang on, did I already thank Papa Meow Meow for the 8 months of support? That must have happened during the cold open video, but Papa Meow Meow, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for supporting this channel for the past 8 months. It's a long time. That reminds me, we gotta set up our sub goal for today. Tuesday, science, outreach, sub goal. Set that 430 and begin.
Hold on to your butts.
There we go. Yeah. Nero TBF, hello to you too. Welcome back to Paleontologizing. Yeah. Oh, the 3D printer filament, what does it do? Oh, Travel, that's what the 3D prints are made out of. I'll show you how it works. If I'm not mistaken, you've actually sent me some of that filament before, Travel the World. I will show you. After I hydrate here. Thank you, Quadrillator, for... Oh, I put ice in here, but I forgot to put water in. Let me go grab some water, and maybe while I'm doing that, the 3D printer will spring to life. Let's see here. Be right back. Well, it hasn't yet. Anyway, thank you for the hydrate. Anywho, and you did travel. Thank you so much, by the way. So you are part of the reason I were able to do this printing. Yeah. So basically, the printer filament is the raw material that it uses to print with. Think of it like it's like the thread that goes into a sewing machine, or like it's like the I don't know, those cylinders that you put into a hot glue gun. The 3D printer actually melts that stuff and extrudes it through a little aperture, and then it builds up the prints layer by layer, kind of like a topographic map. And that's how it works. So yeah. Quadrillator says, iced water is a wise choice. Thank you. That started from back when it was really hot here during the summer. I don't have air conditioning in my apartment, so this is my makeshift air conditioning, you know? Yeah. And there it goes. It's important to watch the first layer. The first layer is always the most critical. If that manages to adhere to the bed, then you can have a successful print. If it doesn't, or if you get weird raised spots and stuff, then the printer will catch on it and it'll tear it off the bed and it'll then that's no good. So we're gonna watch this just a little bit, make sure she's printing the way she should, and but yeah, I don't know, she's been running like a champ recently. Ever since I got that new nozzle for the printer, oh man, it's been pretty great. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do I ever print with a raft for delicate parts? Occasionally I do, Dr. Javasaurus, but kind of rarely. I don't have to very often because, I don't know. I've got everything pretty finely tuned on this, and it's got a heated bed, so things generally adhere pretty well. As long as the first layer is good, usually we're golden. I don't need to do a raft very often. It's been a while since I've used rafts for printing like this. A raft is basically when it prints like a layer underneath and around the sides, just so that if there are any mess-ups, it has all of this other substrate to stick to. So, yeah, it depends on the filament for you. Okay, yeah, yeah. I generally use Hatchbox filament, and that stuff is generally pretty excellent. I wonder if I can add a light over there to help this stand out a little bit better. Let me go try that. All right. Thank you, Travel the World, for that gift sub. Really appreciate that. I really, really do. Thank you, Travel the World. Appreciate you. To Miniature Ukulele. Oh, what a wonderful name. I play ukulele myself, Travel the World. I don't know if I have a miniature ukulele. It's a little soprano uke. If we're really lucky, maybe it'll come out later. But, yeah. This is one of the tiniest little vertebrae from the distal end of the tail, the end of the tail that just printed. I've got a whole bunch of other vertebrae that should be printing in a minute here. So let me grab this off of there real quick, and then we'll start it up again. There we go. I actually wasn't trying to print this one again. I'm glad it only took 2 minutes. But, it's a nice little demonstration from start to finish of how that works. We'll put the print bed back on, and let's print all the vertebrae. Should take about 3 hours to do those. Not the vertebrae, the intervertebral discs. Let's go do it. Whoop, sorry, that was supposed to be there. Anyway, this is gonna start up in just a minute. So, yeah. Well, let's see here. How much money and filament to print that Triceratops? The spools typically go for about $25 each for the kind of filament that I use. And I have probably used 2 spools. Yeah, I used 1 whole one, and we're down to about 1/3 left of this one here. So a little bit less than 2 spools, so a little bit less than $50 worth of filament. Which is pretty impressive when you consider that, you know, to purchase a model of a Triceratops like that, like a baby Triceratops skeleton, A, you can't really get them anywhere. You can only get a skull. And actually, let's have a guess. How much do you think a Triceratops skull, baby Triceratops skull, would go for? If you were to buy it online, how much do you think that would cost? A sculpt of a baby Triceratops skull. How much do you think it would cost? $350, says Gimpleg. 2 billion pennies, says Moonrise Rabbit. And is this a cast or a 3D print? This would be a sculpt, actually, that you would find online. In fact, I will show you a picture right here. It's about this big. How much would this go for? What do you think? $200? $1, Bob, says Lenina.
If it hadn't been for that great dinosaur who saved us from the American forces, we would all be dead.
Is that true, Tawaje? What a harrowing story. Thank you so much for the 8 months of support. Really appreciate you, Tawaje. Thank you for being here. Well, let's see. How much does this cost?
If you're feeling a bit cheated, try blaming the dinosaurs.
Thank you, Science Streams, for those 100 bits. Appreciate that. All right, the big reveal. How much would this cost to purchase? The answer is $1,200. Pretty ridiculous, if you ask me. Holy cow. And, you know, I've printed that. I'm printing the entire skeleton like this for, you know, less than $50. It's pretty good, you know? How much filament? Just shy of, we'll say just shy of two spools tactile. So yeah, is it plaster? No, it's resin, so it's made of plastic. That one there. Just like mine is. So yeah. Let's see. Sculpted from specimens published in the academic literature, this is one of the most adorable and accurate baby Triceratops skull casts available. 14.5 inches long, 11 inches tall, 8 inches wide. $1,200 from Fossil Crates. Which, we're actually going to be talking about Fossil Crates that I didn't even realize. This is actually a really, really excellent sculpt right here. If anybody has $1,200 lying around and they want to spend it there, you'd be supporting a pretty cool business. I totally forgot this was from Fossil Crates. Shoot. I've got very nice things to say about Fossil Crates today. And you'll see why. One of the people behind Fossil Crates is one of the authors on an exciting new paper. Just came out today. Or yesterday, or the day before. Just came out. I'm just finding out about it today. That's why we're talking about it. But yeah. Yeah. And is there much finishing work on the 3D prints? There can be, certainly, Trend K. I will be doing a lot of finishing work on mine, which you'll get to see on Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. And this is absolutely the best way to use a 3D printer, says Just Crabgrass. Well, thank you. Thank you kindly. Oops. There it is there. So far, working pretty well. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Let's see here. Looks like our print is going pretty well, so I think, without further ado, let's get started with some fossil news here. And that should be right. Come on now. Come on, where is it? Ah, it's like every time I restart OBS, it reorders all of the scenes. And I keep moving this to be in a place where I can find it easily, and, let's see. And it just keeps... There you go, Fossil News Video Sting. Let's do some fossil news here. Alright, welcome everyone to Fossil News. And, Christian093, thank you for the follow, and welcome to Paleontologizing. Great to have you here. That's excellent. Yeah. TMK, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. And I do have a Discord. I'm not on there very often, Sassy Catastrophe, but members of this community have a lot of fun with the Discord for sure. Yeah. And, Trevor the World says, please add your gift registry to the stream. Type in ! wish list. In fact, I'll do that right here. Let's see. Yeah. I have a, I've got a wish list right there. Yeah. And you're doing well. Glad to hear it, TMK. Christian says, thanks. Again, yeah. It's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about some fossil news here. I've actually been in correspondence just today. In fact, I need to respond to that email with one of the authors of an exciting new paper here. And there it is right there. I was using the Bird website earlier, tweeted about this. Very cool research. We're discussing these discoveries and, in general, the study of modern animals' anatomy and behavior to gain insight about extinct critters' habits on today's live stream. This is that tweet from Fossil Crates, actually. Pretty cool. Apparently, this paleontologist here, his name is Brian. It seems like he actually funds his research and fieldwork and stuff like that, I would presume, through this business making fossil replicas, much like Rob Gaston does, of Gaston Designs. There is a long and storied and very respectable history of people who create fossil replicas, contributing to dinosaur science. And those two things can work hand in glove. Really neat. So yeah. So he says, our paper on Cariama cristata, the red-legged seriema, just came out. Here is a link to that paper right here. Unfortunately, it is paywalled, but I emailed him earlier and actually got a copy of it. So we might be taking a look at that. Very, very exciting stuff. This is 100% up my alley. Thank you, It's Rocks, for the follow, and welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah. Very, very cool stuff. For those of you who know a thing or two about dromaeosaurs, what we call, what many members of the public call raptor dinosaurs, this is going to be a particularly interesting stream for you. If you like dromaeosaurs, raptors, you'll find this very fascinating. Really interesting insights about these creatures. Looking at some modern birds that have got a big hypertrophied digit 2 claw. The killing claw of raptors. It's a hypertrophied digit 2. Like we see right here in a seriema. Look at that. Pretty cool. What do those birds actually use that for? Well, we're going to talk about it. Yeah. So yeah. And what I really love here is that even though the paper itself is paywalled, unfortunately that journal is not open access. Brian from Fossil Crates has posted this right here. Video/pics of the project are available there. Let me share a link to the tweet with you right here. And there you go. And let's take a look. Seriema photos, supplementary videos, and images for Oswald et al. 2022. I think it should be 2023, but anyway, they probably put this webpage together. The journal probably told them it would be out in 2022. But instead, it's out in 2023, and now we have a very, very exciting dinosaur paper. Maybe the first, I think, like, really, truly exciting dinosaur paper of 2023. Regarding dinosaur paleobiology and behavior. Stuff that is 100% up my alley. Very cool. Here is a seriema there. And how many of you in chat are familiar with these birds? Let's run a poll real quick, actually. in the interest of making things nice and interactive. How familiar are you with seriemas? And I gotta make sure I'm spelling this right, because apparently I'm not as familiar with them as I would like to be. S-E-R-I-E-M-A. R-I-E-M-A. S-E-R-I-E-M-A. With the seriema. I know lots. About them. Burp. I have heard of them. Or never even heard of them. And let's start a poll right now. And we will see how familiar everybody in chat is with these critters. Yeah. We've got a lot of people who've never even heard of them. So this is interesting. This is good. I think anytime you're communicating an idea about science, or you're talking about a group of organisms, it's really important to kind of understand the baseline of knowledge in your audience. That's what we're doing right here. And it seems like the vast majority of people have never even heard of seriemas. So we're going to talk about it. Oh man, this is going to be great. Honestly, one of my favorite living birds. They're really, really cool. Yeah. They are a handsome burb indeed, Barnacle Bum. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Lenina says, I love those goofy burbs. They're pretty great. They really are. Yeah. And you've been waiting for this paper for a while. Oh, excellent, Dinosaur Dave. Well, it seems 2 people know lots about seriemas. 6 people have heard of them. 25 people have never even heard of them. So, this is kind of an honor for me to be able to introduce you to this magnificent bird, the seriema of South America. South America? Yeah, I think so. I think they're from the Pampas of Argentina. I guess we'll test that hypothesis. Yeah. Seriemas. So, there we go. Oh, there's actually a video from Fossil Crates right there. Beautiful. Yeah. So first off, here is a seriema giving off a really weird and interesting laughing sound. Let me show you. There we go. Make sure we got our volume turned up. And here we go. From the Whipsnade Zoo. I'm not actually sure where that is. What a cool critter. Very, very neat. They make some really interesting vocalizations. I'm just trying to give you a sense for the kind of like personality of this bird right here. But let's see, we've got some other videos. Come on now. This we've actually watched before here on stream. So this is a predatory bird. They feed
Two species of seriema in their own family.
well, they eat a lot of reptiles. They eat lizards. They eat snakes. They'll eat invertebrates. And they often kill their prey by picking it up and slamming it down onto the ground using their bill.
So it's not normal for
But they also have a tendency to kind of stomp on their prey using their feet. And we'll be talking about that today, too. And they are kind of like roadrunners a little bit, I guess. Just in the sense that they are ground-dwelling predatory birds. They spend most of their time on the ground. I think they can fly. Seriemas, not 100% sure. We'll have to look that up. But Yeah. They spend a lot of time on the ground eating ground-dwelling prey, just like roadrunners do. Up in North America. These guys are from South America, if I remember correctly. Really, really cool critters. They are super neat. And, there we go.
Argentina. And out there in the wild, they do have a very distinctive way of defending their territory. So are you ready, Dino? Be careful, it is windy up here. Okay, so we're going to play a recording. Hopefully, Dino will respond. Listening.
It does kind of sound like air being let out of a balloon, doesn't it? This weather, yeah. What a cool critter. Seriemas are pretty awesome. Oh, he was that baby. I guess this is an in memoriam for Dino the Seriema. Anyway, really, really cool critter. Let's look them up on the Tree of Life real quick. See what they're related to. They do have a lot of character, Barnacle Bum. A lot of personality, these critters. Seriema. Take a look at the red-legged Seriema. And I'm guessing they're related to... Well, shoot, I don't even know. Red-legged Seriema. They are Seriema forms. There's the red-legged Seriema and the black-legged Seriema. And, wow, so they are like a super early diverging member of this group. Passeriformes? What are these? Yeah. Very early diverging. So apparently they diverged about 76 million years ago. During the Cretaceous period, the ancestors of these birds split off. From their last known, like their, the last common ancestor that they had with those other groups. And then, yeah, the common ancestor of our modern Seriemas, black-legged and red-legged Seriemas, diverged 9.14 million years ago. So these are pretty special birds. There's nothing else like them on Earth, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. They like to tenderize their food. They do, Dismodus. You saw it there. Yeah. Most basal form of Australaves. Thank you, Ruin Lore. Is that like a Gondwanan taxon? Australaves? The name would imply that. Related to falcons, parrots, and songbirds. Fascinating. Very cool. We'll look them up on Wikipedia real quick. Because I bet you're 100% right about that. There we go. Seriemidae, order, Seriemiformes. There's got to be some other clades. Yep, Australaves. There you go. It's a recently defined clade of birds, which does include passerine birds. Okay, very nice. And parrots and falcons, as well as Seriemiformes, including Seriemas and the extinct terror birds. We might talk about terror birds a little bit, actually, before we dive into this paper. That's gonna be cool. Did somebody say Austral? Hey, Constababble, how are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing, Constababble. Constababble, as a resident of the great supercontinent of Gondwana herself. How are you doing, Constababble? Constababble is Australia's greatest science communicator, and she streams right here on Twitch. Let's get a shout out for Constababble real quick. If you're not yet following Constababble, holy cow, are you missing out? If you take no other piece of advice from the beginning of today's stream, everybody, take this one. Go follow Constababble. She does incredible science outreach stuff here on Twitch and beyond, and she's a great person to know. So make sure you follow her. Yeah, when is the next time you're streaming, Constababble? I want to make sure I don't miss it. not to put any pressure on you, if you know the next time you're streaming. You know, we can't always predict these things. But yeah. Anyway, in 2 days. Very cool. So Thursday, Constababble, if we're streaming at the same time, we'll see if I can raid you. That'd be great. Thursday for me, which will be Friday morning for you, I guess, Constababble, yeah. There we go, yeah. Excellent, Constababble. Well, thank you. It's great to have you here. We're talking about this clade of birds. We're going to be paying a lot of attention to seriemiformes today, particularly the red-legged seriema, because there is an awesome new paper that just came out about these really cool birds and what they can potentially teach us about claw use and extinct dinosaurs, such as Dromaeosaurs, the raptors of Jurassic Park fame. Really cool paper. We're going to get into that. But before we do, let's talk about terror birds a little bit. Because this group of critters... Yeah, this will give you a... There we go. A little bit of background on this. Love that bird's face. I love the little mohawk thing that they've got going on. Let's take a look at this real quick. And we will talk about terror birds. And start.
About 5 million years ago, a new predator arrived in America. It had made its way from the south, crossing the still-forming Isthmus of Panama and onto the coastal plains of Texas and then Florida. The largest of these creatures stood 3 meters tall and weighed 150 kilograms. And in its old home, it was the uncontested apex predator, armed with all kinds of awesome adaptations that it used to kill its prey, sometimes in pretty weird ways. And this invader wasn't alone. It was part of one of the biggest mass migrations in Earth's history. It seemed more than ready to hold its own against North American predators like wild dogs and saber-toothed cats. But one thing set this killer apart. It wasn't some toothy mammal or ravenous reptile. It was a giant...
Thank you, Ali J, for gifting Constababble.
Gifted a tier 1 sub to Constababble.
Never was there a worthier recipient of a gift sub. Thank you, Ali J. Really appreciate you. Enjoy. Constababble, enjoy.
Flightless carnivorous bird, and it came to be known by one of the coolest and most richly earned nicknames in all of paleontology, the terror bird.
The terror bird. Seriemas are kind of like mini terror birds.
The invasion actually begins about 145 million years ago at the start of the Cretaceous period. This is
this is what we were talking about. Yeah, Gondwana. So, I said that Constababble is herself a proud denizen of Gondwana. Gondwana it's like an ancient supercontinent. You know, during the Mesozoic era, the age of dinosaurs, you had Africa and South America, India, Madagascar, Antarctica, Australia, and New Zealand all smushed together into this big supercontinent like that. And so, yeah, we actually have... It's really cool where we've got, like, kind of distinct faunas throughout parts of the Mesozoic era, throughout parts of the age of dinosaurs. The dinosaurs up here, from the northern continents, what we call Laurasia, are distinct from the dinosaurs in Gondwana. These two supercontinents split apart from one another, and then you get... all kinds of cool allopatric speciation. And you get different lineages of dinosaurs that kind of evolve in separate directions in the north and in the south. And sometimes things kind of reconnect in places and you get dinosaurs kind of meeting again after being separated for millions of years. And we're still kind of figuring out all of this stuff, like the ebb and flow of different dinosaur populations when different dinosaurs were isolated and then they were reintroduced. And oh, it's such a cool, interesting story. Paleobiogeography like that is, it's really fascinating. And that's something I'll be talking about a lot this summer, actually, especially when we're in the field. Because the area I'm going to be doing field work in, we've got some, like, turnover events there and some instances where, like, dinosaurs are walking over from Europe into North America and stuff like that. So, anyway, cool stuff. But the main point here... Gondwana. That's what we're talking about.
Invasion actually begins about 145 million years ago at the start of the Cretaceous period. This is when the last remnants of the supercontinent Gondwana, which would later become Africa and South America, went their separate ways. South America became an island continent drifting through the ancient ocean while its inhabitants lived on in isolation. There were fantastic...
Yep. Constababble says, I love that India was such a continental rogue unit. I know, right? So India, which used to have Madagascar stuck to it, drifts north and north and north at really tremendous speeds for a continental plate. You know, geologically speaking, it's moving real fast, and then it crashes with tremendous force. Again, this would be like centimeters per year to us, but geologically speaking, that's really, really fast, and that's what pushes up the Himalayan mountains. Let me show you, actually. And apologies for the music sounding so abrupt. I had some issues with the music player. The play pause button doesn't work anymore on my Stream Deck. I think something's been updated and not everything's caught up yet. But hopefully we'll get that worked out soon. Let's go to, say, 120 million years ago here. Here's what Earth looked like around that time. Gondwana has started to split apart here. South America and Africa are just thinking about maybe breaking up right there. But here's India, with Madagascar stuck to it. We fast forward to 105 million years ago. It started its journey northward. 90 million years ago, it's moving up. It's split with Madagascar. 66 million years ago, man, is it really moving now? This is the same time the asteroid hit Earth at the end of the Cretaceous, by the way. Caused the extinction of the non-bird dinosaurs. 50 million years ago, it is just about to crash into Asia. And this is actually the same time when whales first evolve. It seems they first evolved in this area. When it gets really close to Asia like this, basically the seas throughout here are really shallow and really warm, and this is like the perfect environment for the first whales to start evolving from land-living hoofed mammals. Really interesting stuff. There would have been like a lot of low-lying coastal areas like this, a lot of swamps and bayous and deltas and areas like that. Perfect habitat for whales to evolve. Or at least good enough for whales to have evolved there. Anyway, 35 million years ago, it's crashed into Asia at this point, and it is still going. Still going, and the more it goes against Asia, the further and further it pushes up the Himalayan mountains, which are to this very day still rising. Anytime you get orogenies, mountain building events like that, it's like it's a push and pull, where, if the mountains are rising quickly enough, they will continue to rise, but if they're rising very slowly, then they won't be able to keep up with erosion. So the tops of them will get eroded and eroded and eroded, and then you'll just end up with low-lying hills and... yeah. Anyway, that's why the Himalayan mountains are so tall and dramatic and pointy. It's because they're still coming up really fast. So they're coming up faster than they can get worn down by erosion. So, yeah. Anyway, India will not stop, says Constable. Yes. Get out of its way. So yeah. Yeah. Cool stuff. Anyway. Here we go. Let's get back to this.
Became an island continent drifting through the ancient ocean.
Yep.
While its inhabitants lived on in isolation. There were fantastic, gigantic versions of today's armadillos and sloths,
in South America,
which rose to become the continent's top predator after the extinction of the dinosaurs. Over the course of about 60 million years, this group of carnivorous birds, now known as Forest Rachidae, diversified into as many as 25 different species, ranging in height from 1 to 3 meters, with a variety of body types and lifestyles to match. Now, some species may have been scavengers, but others were definitely predators, and they were built to kill. They had massive beaks tipped with sharp hooks, kind of like what you find on modern raptors, adapted for delivering powerful stabs and ripping flesh from bone. Their neck vertebrae also suggested they could swivel their heads quickly, which would have helped them track and strike at their prey. And some had strong, stout leg bones that seemed better suited for kicking than for running. Researchers think they could have used their powerful legs to crack open the bones of its victims, possibly to get to the marrow. Plus,
holy cow, being able to kick apart the bones of your victims. Let's play that back. Holy cow. And I recognize this illustration here. This is an old Charles R. Knight illustration. Yeah. Let's see. Let me find that real quick. Charles Knight. Forrest Raked. I didn't quite spell that right, but Google still got it. there you go. Yeah, lovely sketch by legendary paleo artist Charles R. Knight. Oh, and here's a lovely illustration by somebody named Wandering Albatross on DeviantArt. Imagine that animal stalking through the grass toward you with hungry eyes. And you have to ask yourself, is it gonna eat me by, you know... Is it gonna snuff me out with its beak, or is it gonna kick me to death with its gigantic legs? Oh boy, terror birds. You gotta love them, you know? We did a whole, like, week's worth of streams on terror birds, didn't we? Back in October. Such cool animals. They're really, really neat. Oh yeah, yeah. Anywho, there's that illustration again, put over a different background.
Researchers think they could have used their powerful legs to crack open the bones of its victims, possibly to get to the marrow. Plus, they had large, curved, compressed claws that were perfectly suited for subduing and stabbing prey. And unlike most other birds, the bones in terror birds' skulls were totally fused together. This allowed them to use their own heads as weapons by basically pecking stuff to death. Other clues about how terror birds hunted come from birds we know today. For example, many living predatory birds, like the secretary bird, kill with vicious kicks. And terror birds' closest living relatives, a pair of species that still lives in South America called seriemas, actually subdue their prey by picking it up and smashing it against the ground over and over again, which is not how I want to go, since these are
seriemas. These are the birds we're talking about today, and that's why I'm showing you this video. These are the closest living relatives to the ancient terror birds, who, depending on who, it could be unfortunate that they're all gone. I don't know. It'd be cool to see living terror birds. Or you could count your lucky stars that they're all gone, and you don't have to worry about being subdued and ripped apart by terror birds when you know, go out on a morning walk.
The closest living analogs to terror birds, paleontologists think that the extinct giants might have used the same techniques. And so, hence the name. When fossils of these birds were first discovered in Argentina in the late 1880s, they were given the rather obscure name of Forus rhacos, which is thought by some to mean bearer of scars. But nearly 100 years later, in 1978, after having studied these things for decades, paleontologist Larry Marshall dubbed them terror birds, which turned out to be catchier and easier to say. Now, on its home turf...
I didn't know Larry Martin came up with the term terror bird. Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Terror birds had plenty of prey to choose from because most mammals in South America were herbivores. But eventually, thanks to continental drift, South America got a new neighbor, North America. This process took a long time, of course, but by at least 5 million years ago, a chain of islands had formed that linked the two continents for the first time. And land masses were not the only things on the move. The meeting of the Americas marked the beginning of what scientists think may have been one of the greatest exchanges of animal life ever between two...
We call this GABI. G-A-B-I. The name stands for, or the acronym stands for the Great American Biotic Interchange. I'll show you. Great American Biotic Interchange. See, we've looked at this before. GABI for short. This is where critters like toxodonts, agoutis, spider monkeys, anteaters moved north. Terror birds move north too. And then the critters moving south. Oh, also glyptodonts, megatherium, giant ground sloths, they move north. And then you add proboscideans, elephants, deer, pumas, and critters like that moving south. That graphic is a little bit confusing. But, there we go. These guys in this kind of pea green here are the ones that moved north from South America. The guys in blue are the ones that moved south from North America. So the Great American Biotic Interchange, you know? Really, really cool stuff. And right there is a little ray-finned fish. I remember it at Montana State University back when I was an undergrad, listening to a talk from a visiting researcher about fossil freshwater fishes from the Isthmus of Panama down here. This was really, really cool because these fish cannot survive in salt water. They have to move through freshwater streams and lakes and stuff. And so they can provide a really nice kind of timeline for when exactly South America and North America came together and just kissed right there at the Isthmus of Panama. Because when those when those two land masses just join up, then suddenly you've got freshwater streams and stuff moving across that landmass. Not saltwater, but freshwater moving along that isthmus, and that's when these fishes can move from South America up into North America. Again, they can't exist in seawater. They can't survive there. The salt will kill them. So they had to move through freshwater. And so they provide a really, really nice kind of timing mechanism for showing exactly when that meeting took place along the Isthmus of Panama, when that land bridge formed. Really, really cool. So, yeah, awesome stuff. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of that researcher, but she had a really awesome talk. It was really cool. Anyway, so the Great American Biotic Interchange, GABI for short. Let's continue.
Continents. Today, it's known as the Great American Biotic Interchange, when animals from both continents were suddenly free to migrate, bringing into contact all sorts of species that had never met before.
There you go,
Ash Girl. We know about this phenomenon we know from the fossils of mammals. For example, we know that 5 million years ago, North America was home to deer, horses, cats, and bears, but there were also camels, elephants, and tapirs, and all of these groups.
By the way, I know today we associate South America with like llamas and alpacas, guanacos, vicuñas. You know, camels, that whole group, Camelidae, first evolved in North America. Camels are an American original. Camels first evolved in North America. And I remember when I was streaming from various zoos over the summer, every time we'd see a camel, I would tell this story. And there would always be people in chat and they'd go, holy cow. I had no idea that camels were originally from North America. But that's where they first evolved. Camels first evolved in North America. Today, when you think about like desert camels, not llamas or guanacos, but, you know, Bactrian or dromedary camels, you think of Africa. You think of the Arabian Peninsula. Maybe you think of Mongolia for Bactrian camels. But camels first evolved right here in North America. So did primates, it seems, and critters like tapirs, and I think elephants, too, first evolved in North America. So yeah. So how did camels and elephants get to Africa? They walked across the land bridge, across the Bering Strait, through Alaska, and into Asia, and then they moved through Asia to get down into Africa. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. These are the sorts of puzzles that we can solve when we study fossils like these, you know? So yeah. I do wish I agree, Golganak. I wish we still had tapirs in North America. I have a tapir skull right here in my office. Do you want to see it? Let me grab it. Tapirs are, really cool animals. Let's see if I can find you, for anybody who's not familiar with tapirs. Baird's tapir. There we go. Take a look at this animal. Find my tapir skull. Give me a second here. Where did that go? That's strange. It's gotta turn up. How do you lose a tapir skull? Oh, I know where I put it. I put it in storage. Give me a second. Let me find it. Down here. Later, maybe? There we go. Elusive. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the skull of a tapir. right here. Really cool. You can see where the proboscis goes right here. So mammal skulls are so strange to me as a dinosaur researcher. Mammal skulls just look really... They're like too solid. They're overbuilt. They seem really inefficient. It's like... It's just so much bone. But anyway, the, that droopy snout there on the tapir hangs off of right here. This is all, like, muscle and flesh right here. And those are the teeth at the front of the mouth, obviously. The premaxillary and mandibular teeth right there. Yeah, big old trunk comes off like that. We actually have tapirs from right here in California. Fossil tapirs lived during the Ice Age. Right here in the San Francisco Bay Area. In fact, I think right near where my grandfather lives in Concord, California. We have, let's see, UCMP collections, databases, there we go. Let's try and look this up on the University of California Museum of Paleontology website. Hang on a minute, databases. UCMP. Specimen search. There we go. And let's see. County. Contra Costa County. That's where I grew up. And, Tapirus. There you go. Tapirus merriami. We've got a tooth of a tapir right there from coastal California. Yeah. Very, very cool. There's my old mentor, Pat Holroyd. She uploaded this photo. Oh, yeah, Tapirus merriami. Very, very cool. This is like a couple miles from where I grew up. Let's see. Tapirus merriami. Commonly called Merriam's tapir, is an extinct species of tapir which inhabited North America during the Pleistocene. Tapirs have a long history on the North American continent. They actually first evolved here. Fossils of ancient tapirs in North America can be dated back to 50-million-year-old Eocene rocks on Ellesmere Island, Canada, which then had a temperate climate. By 13 million years before present, tapirs, very much like extant tapirs, existed in Southern California. And Northern California, too. Anyway, really cool stuff. Tapirs are really interesting animals. And, isn't that neat? Yeah. They're such cool critters. They really are. Yeah. So anyway. I didn't expect to be talking about tapirs on today's stream, but... you know, here we are. Let's finish out that video, shall we? Not this one, but look at that wiggly snout. But this one here. Let's finish this out, shall we? Yeah.
Moved south. Meanwhile, in South America, there were marsupials, giant ground sloths, and huge cousins of the armadillo called glyptodons that moved north. And in general, the mammals from North America were more successful in the south than the animals that made the reverse trip. That's because other than terror birds, there weren't a lot of large predators in South America. So the North American animals, from mice to canines, did very well in their new home, and they diversified like crazy. In fact, half of the mammal genera living in South America today are descended from North American immigrants. But North America had way more big predators than the southern migrants were used to.
And by the way, I think this whole thing about like, oh, there were more predators in North America, I kind of wonder whether it's a width of the continents kind of thing, where there were, I don't know, North America is wider than South America for more latitude. So basically, you've got more horizontal space per latitude than you have in South America, which tends to be very narrow and V-shaped. This is kind of something that the Southern Hemisphere, this is like a problem that they also have in Africa and stuff like that, is that different latitudes tend to be pretty narrow. Jared Diamond talks about this in his book, Guns, Germs, and Steel, I think that that idea holds a lot of credence, that basically the shapes of the continents themselves can actually kind of dictate like how well certain creatures will do when they're brought to, a different continent. And like that's why we have certain creatures that kind of take over in certain areas. It's because, well, shoot, you've got a lot of horizontal latitudinal space right there for different critters to evolve, and they can spread throughout that entire thing. Whereas in South America, different latitudes, which correspond to different temperatures, you tend to be really constrained horizontally. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, and how did terror birds go extinct? We'll talk about that, Holy Lifton. Let's talk about it.
Diversified like crazy.
Yeah.
In fact, half of the mammal genera living in South America today are descended from North American immigrants. But North America had way more big predators than the southern migrants were used to. So most animals that moved up from South America didn't last very long. And this included the terror birds. We know from fossils that at least one type of terror bird followed its prey north, Titanus walleri, one of the largest terror bird species. The earliest evidence of Titanus in the US has been found in Texas, in strata dating back 5 million years to the late Paleogene period. Which is weird because scientists think that the land bridge between North and South America probably wasn't complete until about 3 million years ago. So even though they couldn't fly, these giant birds must have somehow managed to float or swim or walk through the shallow waters that connected the islands between the two continents.
Pretty intrepid.
Titanus roamed the open coastal plains, eating anything it could chase down, kill, and swallow whole. But in its new home, for the first time, Titanus had to deal with competition from other big predators, like saber-toothed cats and the ancestors of modern wolves. Then around the beginning of the Pleistocene period, the outlook for the terror birds got even worse when the climate began to change. Temperatures grew colder and glaciers began their march south. Soon, beset by advancing winters and bigger predators, the last North American Titanus met its end around 2 million years ago, as the most recent ice age started to set in. So the invasion of the terror birds turned out to be brief, less than 3 million years. And because their time here was so short, they didn't leave much evidence behind. The entire fossil record of Titanus in North America consists of just a few dozen bones and bone fragments, mainly at the neck, legs, feet, and toes, found only at 4 sites in Florida and 1 in Texas. But their migration was just one small wave of the Great American Biotic Interchange, which turned out to be a crucial chapter in the history of the Americas that changed life on both continents forever. In the end, the time when terror birds came to North America is an important reminder about how big changes can create lots of awesome new opportunities for some of us, while also creating tremendous pressure to either adapt or disappear.
Yep. Very, very cool stuff. Now, before we get back into seriemas, I want to say there was one more interesting video. I want to say that in an old episode of Paleo World, we had some stuff about terror birds. Let me see if I can find that. Paleo World in order. Give me a second here. Killer Birds, Part 2. Might be it there. Give me a second here. Because I want to say we might have some discussion of seriemas, especially at the end of this. Yeah, here we go. There we go. And pause the music, and there's Andogolornis.
American members of this family, like Andogolornis, may have died out.
Yeah.
The story of these giants was not over yet. Some birds, like Titanus walleri, used the land bridge to migrate to North America.
Oh, yeah.
And escape extinction. For a while.
With the evolution of this group, they in fact were even more successful, and its pinnacle species, Titanus walleri, in fact, made the connection from South America to North America, lived in Florida approximately 2 million years, competing side by side with other mammalian predators, and did very well for itself throughout that whole period.
Pretty cool.
Paleontologists like Bob Chandler continue to search for more clues to a mysterious world where mammoth birds once terrorized this land.
And there's a seriema.
Today,
coming back home here.
Those giants are gone. Yet their descendants are still among us.
It's not really a descendant,
We
it's
can
a
only
relative.
imagine what evolution holds in store for them.
Ooh.
Might there still come a time when killer birds will return to power once again?
Could it happen? Will the seriema yet yield gigantic, deadly descendants, which might once again prey on the likes of puny, fuzzy mammals? We shall see. Anyway, let's talk about seriemas here, because that's what this new paper is about, and that's the whole reason that we were talking about terror birds in the first place. Is because of this. So these birds can help provide really interesting clues into dinosaur paleobiology, as laid out in this new paper that I just found out about today. I emailed the authors, got myself a PDF copy of this. Let's go over it. This, like I said before, this is 100% up my alley. Very, very exciting work. I wish we had 100 times as many cool papers like this coming out. And thank you for the hydrate. Travel the world. Appreciate you. Cheers. Yeah. And love that they ended on that shot. Wasn't that good, Constabella? Yes. That goofy terror bird model. But yeah. Yeah. And some of you here in chat are already familiar with what we call RPR, the raptor prey restraint model that modern birds of prey will use to subdue their prey with. It's also been hypothesized for Dromaeosaur dinosaurs, the raptor dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. Some of you are already familiar with this. There you go. Thank you, Lenina. Yes, indeed. And there's a handy link right there in the chat. This is a really, really cool paper led by my old crew chief, Denver Fowler. He was my mentor when I lived in Montana. I'm co-authoring some papers with Denver right now, actually. We got to get that Spinosaur one out. And then I've got other ones that I want to co-author with him. Anyway, in this paper, he talks about dromaeosaurid dinosaurs and other deinonychosaurs too, like troodontids, with their big sickle toe claws like that, and how they may have used them in a manner very similar to modern birds of prey. There was actually an XKCD comic about this, which I think is really, really cool. That we had like a webcomic that actually cites a scientific paper in it. I'll just let you read that for a second. And, yeah. Cool stuff. I'll read it for you. So this, presumably, like, young adult lady walks over and she goes, "What are you reading about?" The little girl says, "Dinosaurs." And she goes, "Oh, yeah. They've gotten all weird since I was a kid. They used to be awesome, but now they have all these dorky feathers, right?" And the girl says, "Yep." And the girl goes on, "This says they now think raptors use their wings for stability, flapping to stay on top of their prey while hanging on with their hooked claws and eating it alive." And she's kind of silenced by this. He sits down and starts reading too. This makes my heart so happy on so many levels. A, because there's a citation right though. Fowler et al., PLOS 1, 2011. That refers to this paper right here. So A, you've got a webcomic with a citation for a scientific paper right there. But this also just goes to show that, I don't know, if there are so many people who aren't up to date, members of the general public who their idea of dinosaurs is stuck in the 1990s with Jurassic Park, you know? And they might think, oh yeah, you know, modern dinosaur depictions, they're all dorky, they got feathers and everything. It's like, no, they're actually a zillion times cooler. the thing is, the more we learn about dinosaurs, the more we learn about how these animals actually looked and lived and evolved, the cooler they get. So yeah, you know, I'll share the link to this webcomic with you right here. But that's an idea called Raptor Prey Restraint, and it was published back in 2011 by Denver Fowler and colleagues. But now, of course, in the spirit of science, ever charging forward, ever pushing new boundaries, testing old ideas, some more authors have actually decided to test this idea about raptor prey restraint, using those hooked claws to subdue prey. And they've done so in this very, very cool paper. So again, this is on Twitter from @FossilCrates, who is one of the authors of this paper. There you go, right there. This is our paper on Cariema cristata, the red-legged seriema, just came out. We conclude that the killing claw is for pinning prey and not for slashing. Which is really, really interesting, if you ask me. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Before we jump into this, we got some comments here. Let me catch up. Dinosaur Dave says, had a creationist demand that I show them a dinosaur with feathers that's not a bird. I said, you Tyrannus. That's a great example there, Dinosaur Dave. That's a great example. And they said, it's got feathers, so it's a bird. And I just stared at them because they couldn't explain how something was really... There you go, Dinosaur Dave, yeah.
Grew spears which projected from his body armor.
Thank you, Elkin. 1996 Elkin, for your follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Great to have you here. And thank you, Remy Cat, for the follow, too. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Great to have you here. Yeah. Dinosaur Dave. Yeah, they'll do that, you know? Oh, but creationists, you know? Bless their little hearts. That's all I can say. Drives you nuts. You and me both, Dinosaur Dave. You and me both. The Trek Nerd says they'll staple you to the ground. Yes, these birds, seriemas. Look at those claws. Look at that hooked claw right there. That's basically what they do. So these claws seem to be for pinning prey items to the ground so that they can be eaten alive. Just like with Dromaeosaur dinosaurs. Anyway, very, very cool. Here is a link to some of the supplementary information from the paper right here at fossilcrates.com, which, by the way, I would recommend. This is really cool stuff. Bring the museum home. I'm talking all the time on this channel, constantly, about how real dinosaur fossils, especially if they're scientifically important, which they almost always are, they belong in museums, you know?
That belongs in a museum!
The fossils that I have here in my office are replicas, almost invariably. I have very, very few actual fossils here, and the ones that I do have, the actual genuine fossils are like this Eocene fish right here, which happens to be very common. This is Diplomystus, I think. Yeah, I have very few actual fossils here. Everything that you see up there is 3D printed. And we're currently 3D printing more of this baby Triceratops, whose skeleton is going to go on top of the bookcase. Very excited about that. Anyway, real fossils belong in museums. But if you would like some fossils to display at home, fossils of dinosaurs, this is about the best that you can do. Really awesome, cool stuff here. Yeah. You've got theropod dinosaur claws and teeth and jaws. All kinds of cool stuff from Fossil Crates, so check out that site. Again, here is the link right here. But not only do they offer fossil replicas for sale, but it seems as though this is actually like a means of making money to support actual scientific work. Because one of the people from Fossil Crates, by the name of Brian, he's one of the authors on this paper, which is really, really cool. Here is the paper right here. Unfortunately, it is paywalled, but I emailed Brian earlier and got myself a copy of this, so we'll be looking at that briefly. But let's take a look at this right here. Supplementary information for the paper is all available here. So let's take a look at this. Basically, in order to test Denver Fowler's idea about Dromaeosaur claws, the claws of raptor dinosaurs, being used for pinning prey, Brian and the other authors looked at modern birds with big old hooked claws on their feet. These guys basically have got a Velociraptor or Deinonychus-like hypertrophy digit 2 claw. Some of you are already familiar with this. If you've seen the movie Jurassic Park, you know what I'm talking about. There we go. The famous raptors in the kitchen scene. Oh, I can tell I've pulled this up before. There we go. Those claws right there. Again. One more time. Those claws right there. Playback speed 0.5. Those big sickle claws right there. That are one of the... one of those characteristic features of Dromaeosaurids, like Velociraptor, Deinonychus, Utahraptor et al. We see the same thing in seriemas. They've got that big old claw right there on their second toe. First toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe. They've got 4 in total. The second toe is the one with the big old claw there. Like you saw here. Again, first toe, second toe, third toe, and then fourth toe on the outside. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So it has been a mystery for a long time. What was this claw actually used for? And I realize I'm jumping all over the place here. I hope that's okay. Live broadcast, you know, you can't help it sometimes. But yeah. Constababble says... Let's see. What did Consta say? Got to see Jurassic Park in a cinema last month. That's super cool, Constababble. I remember when I got to see Jurassic Park. I got to see this movie in 3D back in 2013, actually. In Bozeman, Montana. I got free tickets as because I was at Museum of the Rockies at the time, and a bunch of us who worked in the lab got free tickets to go see the 20th anniversary 3D release of this in the theater. So yes, I have seen the original Jurassic Park in the theater, which was pretty special. And I got to watch it with a bunch of other paleontologists. It was... oh man, it was cool. So Constable, I'm so glad you got to see this also. That's, Jurassic Park really was it was kind of a, it was a watershed moment for dinosaur paleontology. It really was. The paleontologist I was working with this past summer, one of the paleontologists, Jim Kirkland. He's the state paleontologist of Utah. If I knew the timestamp, I would go back to the interview I did with him and find it for you. But he talks about how when Jurassic Park came out in 1993, it helped change dinosaur paleontology forever. Because before that, in the late 80s and the earliest 1990s, there were maybe about 40 or 50 full-time dinosaur paleontologists on the planet. By which I mean there were only about 40 or 50 jobs in the whole world. Academic jobs, professorships, you know, like museum curators, people like that who work on dinosaurs full-time. 40 or 50 in the entire world. Then Jurassic Park came out, and suddenly the number of jobs, like, doubled after that. There was a huge resurgence, not just in the public interest in dinosaurs, but in academic interest in dinosaurs. Suddenly, all these new jobs opened up, and he actually ended up getting a job, I think this was more or less because of that, at Dynamation Institute. And he was able to feed his family from this job. Like, before he got the job as the official state paleontologist of Utah, he worked at Dynamation Institute, and a big part of why that came to be was because of Jurassic Park, evidently. So yeah. So anyway, Jurassic Park was hugely influential. I mean, yeah, it really, really was. And, you know, a lot of people forget that nowadays, but it was a huge deal at the time. It really was. So, yeah. First time we saw Jurassic Park was at the Country Drive-In. Very nice. Eagle Star Trucker. Welcome, by the way, Eagle Star Trucker. You're from Minnesota, and Microraptor is your favorite dinosaur? This is a wonderful day for you to join us, Eagle Star. It really, truly is, because we're talking about the family that Microraptor belongs to. Dromaeosaurids. We're talking about these critters right here. Dromaeosaurids. There is Microraptor right there. There it is. These are all to scale, by the way. Microraptor, Velociraptor, Ostroraptor, Dromaeosaurus, Utahraptor, Utahraptor is pretty honkin' big. It's a big animal. And Deinonychus. The Velociraptors from Jurassic Park are actually this critter, Deinonychus. They're not actually Velociraptor. Velociraptor looks like this. It's got a downturned snout like that, dorsoventrally compressed. Yeah, this is the real-life Velociraptor here. This is the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. Anyway, here's Microraptor right here, which, as the name implies, is kind of a small boy. Microraptor certainly not the biggest of the Dromaeosaurs. But we're talking about this group with their big sickle toe claws like that. What did they use those for? Got a brand new paper I just found out about today talking about this. Exciting stuff. So anyway, it's great to have you here, Eagle Star Trucker. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. It's essentially a dinosaur crow. Well, yeah, I mean, crows... You probably know this already, Eagle Star Trucker. But you know that crows are dinosaurs, right? You know? Birds, and I mean all birds, are living dinosaurs. So a crow is a dinosaur version of a crow, you know? But this would be a non-bird dinosaur version of a crow. Yeah, yeah.
They have given 229 gifts.
And Dinosaur Dave, that I appreciate tremendously, Dinosaur Dave. Thank you, thank you. That's excellent. Thank you, Dinosaur Dave, for gifting Eagle Star Trucker. Eagle Star Trucker, enjoy those emotes, and enjoy not having to watch the ads, too. You've got emotes like these now for the next month. Are birds dinosaurs? Yes, birds are dinosaurs. So yeah, a crow is legitimately a dinosaur. But if we're talking about non-bird dinosaurs, then yeah, Microraptor is like a dinosaur version of a crow. It's about the same size. And Microraptor, we also think, had, you know, very crow-like iridescence in its feathers. There we go. And hang on a minute here. Holy Lifton! Thank you, Holy
Lifton
Lifton.
is getting serious with those 5 gift subs.
Thank you, Holy Lifton. Really appreciate that.
If you're feeling a bit cheated, try blaming the dinosaurs.
And thank you, X-Mariner, for those 100 bits. Lovely. Looks like we got a hype train going here again. Excellent. Dinosaur Dave, thank you for your gift to Eagle Star Trucker. Holy Lifton, thank you for your 5 gift subs. For those 5 lucky recipients, appreciate you, Holy Lifton. And thank you, X-Mariner, for those 100 bits. That's good stuff. Thank you for your support. I do this 5 days a week, and so, this has become my full-time job, believe it or not. So you're putting food on my table. Thank you very much for supporting a starving scientist here. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, there's Microraptor right there. We know that it had very dark-colored feathers, maybe verging on, like, black feathers. Had kind of an iridescence to them. We can tell this by looking at the melanosomes in the feathers themselves.
Blaming the dinosaurs.
Thank you, Dismodus, for those 100 bits. Really appreciate that. So, yeah. So, when Trucker says it's kind of like the crow of the dinosaur world, this is a crow, you know, 130 million years before crows evolved. It's a pretty cool critter, Microraptor. Really, really neat animal. And would have been able to glide, too. But you see it's still got those sickle claws. Look down at its feet. You see that raised digit 2 claw like that? That's what we're talking about today. So, yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Oh, look at that! I love this Microraptor illustration there. Just beautiful. Really nice stuff. There was also a Microraptor video that I'll have to mute because it's got copyrighted audio. But, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, Microraptor. What a lovely 3D rendering of this animal. Good stuff. Yeah. Got that kind of bird-like gyroscopic motion going there. Oh, that's lovely. That's really, really good. Yeah. I should make some alerts out of that, actually. That's really, really good. Yeah, that's supposed to be set to Diana Ross, Turn Up the Sunshine. But that'll get me a copyright strike, so I don't want to play that. Anyway, let me make a note of this real quick to make an alert there. But, yeah. Hey, Captain Paul, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yeah. If a crow owns a pub, would it be called the Crowbar? Smurfosaurus? Maybe, Smurfosaurus. Yeah. A pub or a tavern or, anything like that, sure. And hang on a minute here. Uh-oh. Murph! Thank you, Murph, for those 5 gift subs right there.
Murph just changed things with those 5 gift subs.
Really appreciate that, Murph. I really, really do. Thank you kindly for your generosity there and your support. It means a lot to me. It really does. Thank you, Murph. There are now 5 lucky folks, including Xenotechnic and Sky Collective, Bookmarksical and Sodic, Psychotic Baby, who will not have to watch ads for the next 30 days. What a gift, Murph. Thank you, thank you. You'll also get all those cool emotes, like these, and etc. Thank you. Appreciate you. And we are now at 13 out of 30 subs for the day. We are more than 1/3 to the way... We're more than 1/3 of the way to our goal for today. Believe it or not, English is my first language. Yeah. But yeah, Danny, Claire had me check last night after the stream, and mine ends on the 12th. Your sub. Good to know, Nathan. Good to know. Let's see if I can get you that recurring. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about Dromaeosaurs today, everybody. As you creep up to a level 3 hype train, we'll see if we can get there. There you go, Ali J, yes. We're talking about these very cool sickle-clawed predatory animals, whether they're as big as Utahraptor or as little as Microraptor. They share that hypertrophy digit 2 claw. And what in the world did they use that for? Well, I'll see if I can find this real quick. Let's see. Here we go. This is from the kind of cheesy History Channel show. Here we go. Jurassic Fight Club, which is very sensationalized. Jurassic Fight Club is kind of insidious in the sense that it takes like actual dinosaur science and actual dinosaur scientists. There's Rob Gaston right there, discoverer of Gastonia. There's Tom Holtz, who we were talking about yesterday. Peter Larson. Where's Jim? Oh, there's Brooks Britt. Yeah. Oh, this is exactly what we're looking for, actually. Yeah. Here, we'll take a look at this real quick.
It also had long, powerful forelimbs, ending in 3 blade-like claws.
Yeah.
Sickle-shaped claw. That's why it was given the nickname Super Slasher.
I don't know anybody who calls Utahraptor Super Slasher. But anyway, Utahraptor is a big dromaeosaur, the biggest we have thus far. And, yeah, there's those big sickle-shaped claws right there.
This is from the foot.
There we go.
Of Utahraptor. And
Yep.
It's unlike the claws and the feet of other theropods in that it's very narrow. You can see it's narrow in section. And based on looking at the claws of modern birds, we realized this sheath was probably another third longer than this. So it'd come out and come out here and go down here before it got to a point. And also the sheath came to a sharp edge down here, much like a knife. This supports that.
I don't know if that actually would have come to a sharp point like a knife. In fact, if we look at the claws of modern birds, it doesn't actually seem to do that. But, yeah. Call it Ultra Slasher. There you go, Zalak, yeah. And yeah, History Channel. You know, yeah. This is before everything on History Channel was, you know, Ghost Swamp, Bigfoot Truckers, and stuff like that. But yeah. The claws didn't slide through flesh, they dug in, says Holy Lifton. I would be inclined to agree with you about that. Here.
The idea that they use this killer claw by putting it in and then pulling it along.
Picture this animal being able to kick.
So here we go. Here's Jim Kirkland. This is the state paleontologist of Utah. I work with Jim. You know, I'm working on... Well, shoot, I worked with him last summer in the field. Clarify that. I worked with him in the field last summer. Worked under Jim digging up dinosaurs. And we've got some papers that we're going to be working on together. I just submitted an abstract and trying to keep up with Jim, trying to make sure everything is scientifically rigorous up to his standards. We're working on an abstract together for an upcoming conference.
This thing with slashing strokes, 3, 4, 5 foot long strokes. Plunge it in through skin an inch thick. Slash down 10 inches deep and cut 3 feet long. And do that every couple seconds.
So yeah, this, and I talked to Jim about this, he still thinks that that's the case. And if you saw my interview with Jim Kirkland this past summer, I did an interview with him live on Twitch last summer. I don't actually have that hard drive attached right now, or I would show you. I'll upload it to YouTube pretty soon. But, yeah, anyway. the idea that these animals are using their claws for slashing is an idea that goes back to like the 1970s with John Ostrom and Deinonychus. I have my doubts about that, as do other researchers. So yeah, it didn't slice, it got stuck in the skin, says Holy Lifton. I mean, I think you're right, Holy Lifton, yeah. And Constababble says, I get so confused by last summer. Shoot, I haven't even thought about that. Thank you, Constababble, for calling me out on my Northern Hemisphere bias there. What I mean by last summer is July and August of 2022. Back in July and August of 2022, I was working with Jim Kirkland out at Dolings Bowl, eastern Utah, Cedar Mountain Formation, earliest Cretaceous period. And I did an interview with him there. I talked to him for like 4 hours on stream. Jim is just a fount of paleontological and geological knowledge, and it was one of the most fun interviews I've ever done. So, looking forward to more of that this next year. So yeah. And Desmodus says, so it was more like a giant toothpick so the snack couldn't get away, Desmodus? I mean, that very well could be what's going on with this, yeah. Let's take a look at some of these videos here. This is from the Fossil Crates YouTube page. This is a bit of supplementary information from this paper. By the way, the paper that we're talking about is right here. Let me give you a link to it. There you go. But yeah. And there were no large mammals during the Cretaceous. And Gimplet. Well, yeah, but also Gimplet. You're right about that. That's a good point. But also, dinosaurs would have had like really interesting, weird skin that modern animals don't have. We don't have a good analog for that in the modern world. So yeah, good point, Gimpleg. Absolutely. Anyway, looking at this animal, the red-legged seriema, with its big old digit 2 claws, just like you have on, say, or similar to you have on, say, Velociraptor, Deinonychus, Utahraptor. How do they actually use their claws? Let's take a look. There's one playing with a keychain, carabiner there. But look at how it uses that digit 2 claw to hold down the item that it's trying to manipulate. Pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. There's also footage of them doing this to a mouse. So if you're a little bit squeamish about that kind of thing, I would recommend maybe... I'll warn you when it comes up. But, yeah. You're gonna see it do it to a mouse as well, and I'll warn you beforehand. Digit 2 pinning object. So this is just, as a matter of habit, that's how they use their big digit 2 claw. They pin the object to the ground like that. Whether they're doing that to a keychain, or whether they're doing it to a prey item. That's just their default behavior. They use that claw for pinning it to the ground. Pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. This is the same hypothesis laid out in Fowler et al. 2011 on the predatory ecology of Deinonychus and the evolution of flapping flighted birds. So you have other researchers actually testing this hypothesis and concluding that, hey, their data bears that out too. Seems like those original authors were correct, which is really, really cool. Really, really awesome stuff. Bird Fight Club. There you go, Constabelle. Yes. And Travel the World. I appreciate you. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you for being here. I will check my whispers. Thank you, Travel. Thank you. Yeah. Cool stuff. Yeah. And there you go, Nerf Dermer. Those big digit 2 claws right there. You think they were for plastic packaging? I mean, it'd Be useful on Christmas morning, right? Yeah. Anywho. Yeah. Red-legged seriema. So here's another seriema. Playing with a plastic snake right there. Slamming it down on the ground. Against a rock. Oh! Bad day to be a plastic snake, you know? Yowza. So this kind of behavior is well documented. Using rocks. I guess this is an example of tool use in a bird. Getting back to our paper from yesterday. Oh boy. Yeah. Seriemas are, I don't think, regarded by anybody as the most intelligent of birds, but they do use tools like this. Yeah. The custom level says, yeah, I smash you. Yes, indeed. I like how they're just compelled to do this by instinct, even with a plastic toy, you know? It's like, this snake seems unusually stiff. You know? What gives with it? Well, I'm just gonna keep going, you know? Instinct compels me to do it. Even though the plastic toy is surrendered, Constababble, I mean, yeah. Relentless. Ruthless. No Ruth at all. No Ruth. Ruthless. So yeah, they must be good at playing Pogs, Psychanalysis. Yes. Yeah. Probably. They might destroy the Pogs. But maybe that's a winning strategy, to destroy your opponent's Pogs. These birds don't even know Ruth. Never heard of her. Constababble, yeah. Yeah. Points out the lack of smell of the bird to detect a live animal. I mean, I do think that birds' lack of sense of smell is a bit exaggerated. Most birds can smell a bit. Sure, they don't smell as well as mammals do. Mammals who are practically blind by comparison. Mammals tend to have very poor eyesight compared to birds. And birds, I'm sure their sense of smell is not as good as those of mammals, but I think this is more just like, you know, this is a bird that evolved to do this, and so it sees a plastic snake and it's like, yes, instinct time. Let's get it done. It knows it's not going to eat that snake. I'm sure on some level it understands that that's not a real snake. But this is just like, yes, fulfilling instinct. Let's do it, you know? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And vultures have an extremely, an incredible sense of smell, Kennedy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, really cool stuff here. And that was, I guess, the extent of the videos here from Fossil Crates. But take a look at that toe claw. Holy cow. So we were looking at our Dromaeosaurs earlier. There we go. These sickle-clawed, meat-eating dinosaurs. And take a look at their toe claws. Like that. Here it is. On the Seriema. Really extraordinary. Very, very cool. Yeah. Yeah, do eagles do that too? Whack their prey on rocks? Certain eagles do that, SV Harkin. That is an example of tool use. In bearded vultures, I believe. Bearded vulture. Dropping bones. There we go. So here's an example of a bearded vulture. It's gonna crack some bones open to get to the nutritious, tasty marrow inside. I'll take their word for it that it's tasty. I'm not gonna try it. What a beautiful bird, by the way. I think they're the most good-looking of all the vultures. There it is, dropping a bone. Do you see that? Shoot, let me go back. Watch this. Very cool. So it's gonna drop it. Ooh, there it goes. Yeah. So they'll actually drop bones down onto rocks. There you go. In order to break them open to get to the marrow inside. Yeah, just like gulls and clams. Exactly, Trek Nerd. Yeah, gulls and clams. Gulls will do it with clams too. Very, very cool. And Xander Jiggles, how are you doing? Bearded vultures are so cool. They really, really are. They are really, really neat animals. Such cool critters. So yeah, other birds will use tools for acquiring food. If you consider that tool use, I guess it kind of depends. But yeah. You get the luscious for them marrow. Exactly, Golganak, yes. And Dinosaur Dave says kookaburras will drop snakes and other animals from height to kill them. This means sometimes people get snakes thrown at them by angry birds as well. Oh, Dinosaur Dave, there's some Angry Birds gameplay there. Getting snakes thrown at you? That's some advanced level Angry Birds gameplay. Interesting, Dinosaur Dave. I did not know that kookaburras would do that. Pretty cool. And that's the funny thing, too, is I don't think kookaburras, which are themselves kingfishers, I don't think they are necessarily regarded as particularly intelligent birds. Let's look up kingfishers on the Tree of Life. Yeah, kingfishers. I have never heard anybody say that kingfishers are particularly bright birds. And yet, that would constitute tool use. There's kingfishers there, and you'll see there is the laughing kookaburra in among their number. And laughing kookaburra right there, there you go, is a kind of kingfisher. It is a giant kingfisher. Most kingfishers eat fish, as the name would imply. I didn't realize that was such a big group. 93 species. Holy cow. So kingfishers are a kind of... Or kookaburras are kind of kingfisher, which now eat mostly land animals, which is pretty cool. But their relatives are known for eating fish. They actually dive headfirst into the water to catch fishes. There we go. There's a kingfisher. There we go. Sees something down there. Boom. There you go. Nicely I was about to say nicely done. Look at those feathers puff up. He's like, oh, Tank Sarnet, drop that fish. You better eat it, you know? Don't drop it again. And see it? It's banging it against the stick, trying to get it to keep still so it can swallow it. Would that be tool use? I don't know. Tool use is such a poorly defined behavior. Yeah. Anyway, kookaburra drops snake. Can we find a video about that? Kookaburra drops snake on barbecue? What? I don't know if I buy this. That's not flapping in the way that a kookaburra would. This looks fake. That's 100% a fake video. Not real. Not real. Look at the comments. And then, nope, nobody's saying that it's fake in the comments. Come on. That's 100% fake. Anyway. Here's a kookaburra trying to eat a snake. And it's just swallowing the snake and pounding it against the ground, I guess. There you go. Yeah, poor snake. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Not fake, it's a hawk, says Dinosaur Dave. No, that was 100% fake, Dinosaur Dave. Here, do you want to see again? There we go. Let's see. Well, where did that go? Yeah, hawk drop snake on family barbecue. This is, I can't quite put my finger on why, but this is definitely fake. The staged reaction, yeah. Definitely fake. Here, I'll give you the link in chat. 100% fake. Yeah. Mark my words. That's a fake video. But yeah, and here's a kookaburra catching a snake. Let's take a look at this. Yeah. Let's pause our tunes here. Turn this up. Oh, must be a little snake. Oh, poor snake. Anyway, circle of life. There it is. So kookaburras, I think, are specialists in eating reptiles. They eat a lot of lizards. They eat a lot of snakes. Which is interesting, because their ancestors ate fish. Lived near waterways and stuff like that. Kookaburras, I think, can live really far inland. Like, long distance away from the nearest water. And they now are reptile specialists. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Yeah. So they are kingfishers, yeah. Yeah, kookaburras are the world's largest kingfishers, as far as I know. Yeah. Yeah, cool stuff. Australia's very dry, which is probably why they transitioned. That would make a lot of sense, Dinosaur Dave, yeah. Yeah. Open up all kinds of opportunities for them, being able to live far away from water. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and Mommy does, I agree, the flapping does look wrong in that other video, the fake one. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, an Eagle Star Trucker, yes, Hoatzins are very cool. We actually have a Hoatzin alert. You stick around and you'll probably see that. But Hoatzins, the juveniles, have got claws on their wings that they use for climbing, much like Archaeopteryx. Cool stuff. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Again, talking about seriemas. There's one being very persistent about pummeling this plastic snake. Really, really cool new paper. Here, I'll give you the link again. Copy that. There it is in chat. A new paper on seriemas and on their claw use, which is really, really cool. Observation of claw use and feeding.
Take the phone to Mommy now! It's the dinosaur man!
Adosha, thank you so much for the 3 months of support, Adosha. Really appreciate you at tier 2. That's a tier 2 sub right there. Adosha, thank you so much for your extraordinary support. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Lovely. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. And, but Yeah. Kias can outscore gibbons in some intelligence tests. Oh yeah, Layer T. Birds are incredible like that. And like that kind of intelligence isn't necessarily reflected apparently in their brain size or number of neurons. Apparently those relationships are a lot more complex than we really would like to believe. So yeah. Yeah. And Constable says kookaburras are more likely to steal something from a barbecue than put something on one. Constable, I would believe that, yeah. Yeah. Nice. Well, shoot, before we get into this, I wonder if... Give me a second here. Let me think. I do have to go use the little paleontologist room. Gotta go heed nature's call. Before too long here. I wonder if I can find you a seriema video to hold your attention while I do that. Here we go. Yes, indeed. Sit tight and watch this. We're going to be talking about seriema birds. So let's watch the duet singing of Cariema cristata couple, red-legged seriema. Let's watch them do what they do real quick, and I will be right back, okay? Don't go away. These are the birds we're going to be talking about that can tell us a lot about dinosaur paleobiology. And let's put the music going again, too. And we'll turn them down. It's not necessarily the most pleasant call in the world, so we'll turn that down a little bit. Be right back. All right, here we go. So these critters, seriemas, are themselves very non-avian dinosaur theropod-like. I guess in the fact that they're A, mostly terrestrial. They're mostly walking around on the ground doing their thing, catching ground-dwelling prey and subduing it. They're not flying at their prey, like a lot of other modern birds do. These guys are running it down. I think I was kicking it to death with their feet, it seems. Yeah. Yeah. And Trek Nerd, talking about the video with the hawk. Professional animators and bird experts alike are adamant that the video is a fake. Of course it is, Trek Nerd, yeah. This whole article about it? Thank you, Trek Nerd. You can post that article if you'd like. If you would like to vindicate me there. I called it. I said that was a fake video earlier. Again, talking about... Where did it go? Yeah, this one right here. 100% fake. This is not... It's not real. This is fake. Yeah. Not real. Yeah. Well, a poorly animated fake at that. But yeah. You wonder if they're related to guinea fowl with that squawk Mommy does. Good question. Let's pull up the Tree of Life one more time and then we'll get into the paper. guinea fowl here on our Tree of Life. Come on. Nubididae. They're going to be within galliform birds, I think. They're related to chickens. Pretty sure. Yeah, guinea fowl. There's 6 species of them. Guinea fowl. I don't think they're super close to seriemas. Yeah, there you go. Red-legged seriema. Yeah, they're way over there. Holy cow. Yeah. So they are... What were they called? Australornithes? Australiformes? I forget. Anyway, they're more closely related to passerine birds and to falcons and that kind of critter than they are to galliform birds like chickens or geese, critters like that. So yeah. But good ear there, Mommy does. Yeah. Interesting. Sometimes the calls of different birds aren't necessarily indicative of who they're related to. But I did hear some, like, guinea fowl-like tones in that, for sure. So you're not wrong. Definitely not. Yeah. Oh, and very cool, Helix Fossil. You bought some stuff from Fossil Crates. Good for you. You're supporting a good business there, I'm sure. Here, let's go through and get rid of these tabs. Let me open up my Gmail. And let me take a look at this paper. Let's see here. Because I was corresponding with one of the authors on the paper. And, oh, he actually says, would you consider being a guest on paleoportals.com? You meet 2 Saturdays a month. Denver Fowler was a guest recently. Let me reply right now. Yeah. I would be honored to be a guest. Thank you for the invitation. Let me know how I should prepare, and let's see. And let's see. Yeah. I'll be happy to discuss my research, fieldwork, or whatever else you think would be interesting. I should put outreach in there, too. P.S. Thank you again for the paper. And, there we go. Excellent. Beautiful. Here is the paper right here. Let's go ahead and download that. And I love the format on this. It's a sharp-looking paper. Yeah. Really, really cool research. And this sort of thing, as I said multiple times on the stream already, this is 100% up my alley. This is my kind of dinosaur paleontology here. It's the same kind of research that I do. These are the same kinds of papers that I write. looking at modern animals whom we can observe for clues about the behavior of extinct animals such as dinosaurs. Because that's the thing, when you're trying to figure out how extinct animals would have behaved, what their different weird anatomical features might have been for, you can speculate, you can make all kinds of interesting assertions about, you know, what various novel characters would have been for in extinct animals, but if you want to actually get close to the truth, oftentimes you gotta look at living animals. Look at their anatomy, become familiar with what their features evolved for, how they use them, and because evolution works and because convergence is such a strong force in evolution, because different critters that do similar jobs often evolve really similar morphologies, we can use the morphology, body shapes, the interesting features of modern animals for clues about how extinct animals may have used their interesting morphologies. So yeah. And this paper is I presume an excellent example of that kind of research. This is really, really cool stuff. Yeah. So, the observation of claw use and feeding behavior of the red-legged seriema and its implication for claw use in Deinonychosaurs. Deinonychosaurs, of course, are our friends, the Dromaeosaurids. These critters, Dromaeosaurids, that's Microraptor, Velociraptor, Ostroraptor, Dromaeosaurus, Utahraptor, Deinonychus, and relatives. Dromaeosaurs are one half of Deinonychosauria, and then we've also got Troodontids. Like everybody's favorite Troodon. These guys tend to be a lot more lithe and slender. You know, they're less bulky than their Dromaeosaur cousins. Here's Troodon right here. Got shorter arms, too, oftentimes. Troodontids. They're like Dromaeosaurs, but, you know, they're skinnier. Probably faster. If Dromaeosaurs are like wolves, these guys are like coyotes. Usually a little smaller, more slender, tackling smaller prey. That kind of deal. Oh, yeah. Cool stuff. Those are Deinonychosaurs. Let me see if there's any other groups. It might be Scansoriopterids, too. Might be, Deinonychosauria. There we go, on Wikipedia. Paravian dinosaurs. Let's see. All dinosaurs more closely related to Dromaeosaurids, such as Deinonychus, than to birds. It traditionally includes the families Dromaeosauridae and Troodontidae. There you go. Just like I was telling you, Dromaeosaurs and Troodontids together, their powers combined are the Deinonychosaurs. So there you go. Will that email count as a media appearance on the bingo cards? No, Lenina, we're gonna go mainstream media for that. Yeah. You know? Stuff that would appear on television machines. You know? But yeah. And there you go, Chappie Jenkins. Try 66 million BCE, though. Chappie. 65 is after the asteroid hit. Yeah. Anyway, welcome, Chappie Jenkins. Good to see you. Yeah. So we're going to look at seriemas and see if they can provide any insight for how Deinonychosaurs, the Troodontids and Dromaeosaurs, sometimes called raptor dinosaurs, see if we can glean any information about how they would have used their claws from these modern birds, whom we can observe using their claws. So the abstract here, if any of you are unfamiliar with how scientific papers work, the abstract is just a short summary at the beginning. It's kind of like a movie trailer, except it also tells you how the movie ends. It's a movie trailer with spoilers. It's a summary. The red-legged seriema is unique among extant birds, among living birds, and that they possess a prominent recurved sickle claw on the second pedal digit, which is held off the ground. So their second toe has got a big ol' honkin' claw on it, like that. And I'll show you a picture. Because Twitch is partly a visual medium. There you go. There's that enlarged digit 2 claw. See, D2, D3, D4. And there's D1 there. On the other side. The hallux. Anyway, D2. It's like equivalent to your index finger. Or your second toe, I guess. In the case of, pedal digits. This is the same sickled toe claw that Dromaeosaurs like Velociraptor and Deinonychus have. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. And wait, what was that, Dinosaur Dave? Oh, and shoot. Well, good on you, Dinosaur Dave, for escorting some birds to safety. An official paleontologizing salute to Dinosaur Dave for undergoing personal risk to life and limb to ensure the safety of some birds, Dinosaur Dave. Appreciate you. Real hero there. Yeah. Plovers, very nice. Yeah. Anyway, back to our seriemas here. There we are. They possess prominent recurved sickle claws on the second pedal digits, the second toe, held off the ground, outwardly similar to the claws of the extinct Deinonychosaurs and basal aviolans, and probably convergently evolved due to similar lifestyle/feeding habits. Thus, the way in which seriemas use their claws has the potential to shine additional light on how Deinonychosaurs used theirs. Very cool. If we can unlock how seriemas use their claws, that can give us clues about how these extinct dinosaurs would have used theirs. Though formerly thought of as slashing weapons, it has also been hypothesized that Deinonychosaurs used their claws to pin and grasp rather than slash. This newer hypothesis has been called the raptor prey restraint hypothesis. Our observations of claw use in simulated and real feeding behavior of red-legged seriemas at the Wildlife World Zoo, Aquarium and Safari Park in Phoenix, Arizona, and the Tracy Aviary and Botanical Gardens in Salt Lake City. I have been to the Tracy Aviary and Botanical Gardens in Salt Lake City, Utah. Beautiful facility there. Yeah. Their observations are consistent with the RPR hypothesis. Well, there you have it. Excellent. Denver Fowler and Co. might be onto something with that RPR hypothesis. Very, very cool. Yeah. The seriemas were observed using their feet with special preference given to digit 2. Again, that's that big claw right there. If you're wondering why it's so big, well, they tend to favor this when they're holding on to prey. You can see why. Special preference given to digit 2 to pin objects or prey, which were torn in at tandem with the beak. Given the high degree of similarity between the claws of seriemas and the claws of Deinonychosaurs, as well as their shared Paravian ancestry and similar predatory cursorial lifestyles, they're living on the ground, running down prey, it is likely that seriemas are among the best proxies for Deinonychosaur claw use. That they used their claws in a manner so consistent with hypothesized Deinonychosaur claw use is further evidence that the RPR hypothesis is most likely the best hypothesis for the function of the digit 2 killing claws of Deinonychosaurs. Very, very cool stuff. Oh, this paper makes me so happy. I think this is the first, truly great paper of 2023 in terms of dinosaur paleobiology. Oh, man, I'm excited about this. Wonderful stuff. Holy cow. Oh, this is so good. It's so good. Let's take a look at the actual meat of the paper, shall we? Or, in this case, maybe the impossible burger of the paper. Yeah, some background on seriemas right there. They're capable of flight, but spend most of their time on the ground, preferring running to flying. They're able to run up to 43 miles per hour, and will generally do so before opting to fly. So they don't really like flying that much. They prefer to run, which again makes them a pretty good analog for looking at our ground-running dromaeosaurs and troodontids, too. These critters could not fly, with the exception of Microraptor. These critters are runners. So looking at running birds with a big sickle claw like that, oh, it's excellent. Excellent stuff. Methods. On 2 different occasions, January and August of 2021, we observed the behavior of the red-legged seriema at the Wildlife World Zoo Aquarium and Safari Park in Phoenix, Arizona. The seriema observed on both occasions was a captive-born, hand-reared adult female named Ellie. Observations and photography focused on how Ellie used the sickle-shaped claw on her digit 2. Ellie was observed on the first visit in a cage in which she was presented with a rubber snake and a keychain. We saw those videos earlier, didn't we? On the second visit, she was observed in a performance amphitheater, where she was given a rubber snake and a keychain just as before. A hatchling seriema was also observed on this occasion, though our observations focused on the adult. In June of 2022, we also observed and photographed a captive-born, parent-raised adult male red-legged seriema named Ernie at the Tracy Aviary and Botanical Gardens in Salt Lake City, Utah. The same keychain and snake observations were repeated, and we also observed the seriema eating mice and lizards. No harm came to the birds, and all of this was done with permission and under the supervision of the zoo staff. Very cool. So there's some figures there. We saw that supplementary information earlier, those videos, this one and this one we watched earlier. You can see how they use those digit 2 claws for pinning down those objects in the video. Very cool. Really, really neat. So a pretty simple study, but the thing is, you know, this is not published in some high-profile journal. There's nothing like super groundbreaking here, but this is some excellent science in the sense that rather than speculating about how these animals may have used their claws, Deinonychosaurs, Dromaeosaurs, and troodontids, rather than like making up a just-so story about this kind of thing, which some paleontologists have been guilty of in the past. Instead, here is real observed behavior in a living animal who's got very similar morphology. This is something that modern birds actually do. You don't have to guess about it. We can observe them. To me, that's really cool. That's something real there, you know? Of course, the like kicking, slashing thing. Oh, dromaeosaurs use their claws to kick and slash, or to climb up their victims. Do any modern animals actually use claws for slashing at their prey like that? The answer seems to be no. At least in modern theropod dinosaurs, the answer seems to be no. What do they actually use their claws for? It's documented here in the paper. This is some excellent stuff. Oh man, this makes me happy. Jody Fish says, what about cassowaries? So that is a defensive thing. Cassowaries are herbivorous birds. They eat mostly fruit. Sometimes they'll eat invertebrates too. And I bet you if they found a mouse or something like that, and it's within easy gulping distance, they'd gulp it down. But cassowaries don't use their claws for subduing prey. They do use it for slashing, or I guess kicking, puncturing, whatever, at assailants. But something to keep in mind about cassowaries, though, is that the claws are a completely different shape. Their claws are totally different shape from those of dromaeosaurs, Velociraptor, Deinonychus, Utahraptor, and co. Some cassowary claws right here. So there is the claw of a cassowary. That's the big digit 2 claw. The digit 2 claw is the biggest one, but it is long and straight. It is not curved like we see in the seriema or in dromaeosaurs, or troodontids for that matter. It is a long, straight claw like that. There it is contacting the ground in a living cassowary. So you can see, like, the life orientation of this claw. Very, very different. So even though the claw is a formidable weapon, not used in the same way, it seems, at all. So yeah. And that's interesting. The giant flightless bird that killed its owner is now up for sale in cassowary in Florida, because of course it's Florida. Yeah, these birds are originally from Australia. They're native to Australia and New Guinea. But yeah. Anyway. But yeah, the claw on a cassowary, that hypertrophy digit 2 claw, completely different shape. So yeah. Allie J says, I wish those birds weren't sold as pets. They aren't in most places, Allie J, but Florida is a whole nother matter. You know, Florida is Florida. So yeah. Anyway. And Dinosaur Dave says, since they're all captive birds, could a case be made that their activities might be a learned behavior from their handlers? I guess you could make a case for that, Dinosaur Dave, but I don't think it would be a very strong one, because I think this kind of behavior has also been observed in the wild. Yeah. But yeah. We'll see if they address that point, actually, in the paper. Let's see. Where was that? Though not reported in great detail, especially in terms of digit preference, the utilization of the foot in the pinning and dismembering of prey has been reported in wild seriemas. There's some citations there. And the use of the sharp curved digit 2 claw for pinning has also been reported in the closely related black-legged seriema. Therefore, we believe that this form of claw use is likely representative of the species. So there you go. Good point, Dinosaur Dave, and they addressed that. Yeah. So yeah. Dinosaur Dave, 100% thinking like a scientist there. Yeah. So let's move on to the next section. Evolution and implications for claw use in Deinonychosauria. The sickle-shaped killing claws of seriemas outwardly resemble those of extinct Deinonychosaurs and may share a similar function. However, despite the close relationship of avialans to Deinonychosaurs, which possessed enlarged digit 2 killing claws, and there's Fowler et al. 2011 right there, yeah. The fact that basal avialans such as Archaeopteryx possess Deinonychosaur-like hyperextensible claws themselves, we do not view the digit 2 sickle claws of seriemas being a truly homologous trait with that of Deinonychosaurs. So like they said earlier in the paper, there does seem to be a little bit of convergent evolution here. It doesn't seem like seriemas actually inherited this digit 2 claw from their, Maniraptoran, non-avian dinosaur ancestors. But rather, this is something that evolved independently in seriemas and in these non-avian dinosaurs. But again, this is where convergent evolution comes in. Because even if a trait evolves independently 2 different times, if it's still used in a really similar way, if it's got a similar evolutionary pathway, if you've got the same, evolutionary pressures exerted upon these 2 different things to make them evolve in a similar way, then they could be a really nice analog for behavior. So yeah. Very cool stuff. Seriemas hold their digit 2 claws off the ground by means of the foot pads, not hyperextension of the toe, as seen in Deinonychosaurs and basal avialans. And the claws of seriemas are less laterally compressed compared to the digit 2 claws of Deinonychosaurs. Interesting. These differences suggest that the traits were evolved independently. Nevertheless, the sickle-shaped killing claws of seriemas still bear a strong resemblance to those of extinct Deinonychosaurs and are likely an example of convergent evolution due to equivalent function, similar ecological pressures, and shared biological factors. This is well-written stuff, and well considered. I like this a lot. Yeah. Oh, there is a typo there, though. Editor should have caught that. Very cool. The leading hypothesis for Deinonychosaur claw function comes from Fowler et al. 2011, called the Raptor Prey Restraint, or RPR model, like we've been talking about. This hypothesis states that Deinonychosaurs, specifically Dromaeosaurs, likely use their killing claws for pinning and grasping prey, similar to the grasping and pinning function of the feet of Acipterids, to which Dromaeosaur feet are similar and to which bear an enlarged digit 2 claw. We actually saw this in Fowler et al. 2011. There we go. Here is this open access paper right here, to which I can actually give you a link. Very, very cool. Yeah. Excellent stuff. And I think we've got some... oh, there's the, like, flapping hypothesis right there with that digit 2 claw being used to pin these animals down. Yeah, there we go. And where are our raptor claws? We saw the Dromaeosaur claws. Where are the claws of the raptors? That actually might be in Denver's other paper. Those highly recurved claws. Anyway, yeah. Cool stuff. Yeah. But yeah, yeah. There's our paper here. New Seriema paper. Supported by observation of RPR behavior in the red-legged Seriema, which is perhaps among the best extant proxies for Deinonychosaur's killing claws, we believe that Fowler et al.'s RPR model is the best hypothesis for Deinonychosaur killing claw function. Regardless of variation between taxonomic groups, such as the variation between Eudromaeosaur and non-Eudromaeosaur Deinonychosaurs, or between Acipterids and Seriemas, prey pinning is likely the primary function of this type of claw, and the primary reason why this style of pedal claw evolved multiple times in Deinonychosaur/avian lineages. Very, very cool. Again, a short paper, short but sweet. This is the sort of thing that I would like to see a lot more of. What a wonderful way to start 2023 as well. Holy cow. Splendid. Really, really excellent. Seeing modern animals being used as an analog for extinct animals. Modern birds, modern theropods being used as a proxy for extinct theropods. Really, really cool stuff. This is not arm waving. This is not speculation. This is observations of living animals doing what they do. Using that as a clue for figuring out what extinct animals may have done with their very similar morphologies. This is top tier paleobiology here. Really, really excellent stuff, and I would love to see more papers like this. This is actually the kind of research that I do, and I'm going to be doing something kind of similar for Spinosaurids, as you all will see, once that manuscript finally gets submitted, and then it makes it through review, hopefully, and then gets published. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, very, very cool. Yeah. So pretty awesome stuff. Again, I'm not sure if anybody here actually has access to this new paper here, but there it is there. It says here, published 5th of January, 2023. And this is from the Journal of the Arizona-Nevada Academy of Science. But if you're on a university campus right now, or using the internet at a museum or something, there's a chance that you've got access to this. through Bio One Complete. I guess it's the publishing group. So yeah. Anyway, good stuff. And science indeed, B-Tracker. Good to have you here, B-Tracker. Yeah. So yeah. And was this the raised claw thingy? You bet, Freya. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And Rune Lore, very interesting stuff indeed. Thank you, by the way, for your redeem there on a Dinosaur Deep Dive. I completely missed that 36 minutes ago. Let's add that to our Dinosaur Deep Dive roster. And that'll be, Nato Venator. We just talked about this like a couple weeks ago, Rune Lore. But yeah, we can do it again. Yeah. Nato Venator just described this past year, 2022. A new genus of dinosaur. One of 30-plus new dinosaurs that were named in the year 2022. Yeah. That's going to be cool. That's going to be pretty cool. And you missed that? Oh, Rune Lore, check out the VODs, yeah. It's in there. If you look at we were ranking the, 30-plus new dinosaurs described in 2022. And, yeah, Nato Venator definitely makes a prominent appearance. And thank you, Adoja, for the hydrate. Yeah. So yeah. And, oh, thank you, Dinosaur Dave, too. Yes. I have been trying to upload VODs to the old YouTube. And let's see. Yeah, there we go. This one just got uploaded the other day. I've been having issues with copyrighted videos and music and stuff like that, and YouTube demands that I excise those parts, and it has a handy little tool. I can't say handy. It's got a little tool for that, for taking out copyrighted bits, but it usually takes several days to do it. So the VOD that I uploaded yesterday will probably be up in a few days. In fact, let me take a look at that and see if... Let's see here. My videos... It might still be processing. It usually takes a good while, you know? Yeah. Let's see, details. Video is processing. Okay, yeah. Our VOD from yesterday is still in process.
Adoja gifted
Gonna take a while.
One sub to Dendroform 14.
Thank you, Adoja, for gifting Dendroform.
78 gift subs in the chat.
Dendroform. It's a term that I've used before in some papers as a branching like that of a tree or a root. Very cool, Adoja and Dendroform. Thank you for your support, Adoja. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. And there you go, Nerf Dermer. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I do use OBS. I might try and set it up so that I can switch between scenes and have certain scenes wherein I watch YouTube videos, and with those ones, the audio track doesn't go to the VOD, but I'm still working on that, Nerf Dermer. It's a little bit more complicated than I was hoping. But that's something in the works, potentially. Our music that we have in the background is all good. It's just when I watch a video, say with David Attenborough, or a video from PBS or something like that, some of that stuff gets flagged by YouTube's copyright stuff. And sometimes, just my regular speech also gets flagged by Sony Media Corporation or Viacom or whatever. Like, I also get phony baloney, copyright flags too. For like, it'll just be me talking or playing the ukulele, and like, some, Sony Media Corporation will tag it. It says Spider-Man something something. And it's like, what? How do we have false positives about that kind of thing? It's nuts. American copyright law is out of control. Stifles creativity. Don't get me started on it, Anyway. You must sound like someone famous, says Simple Garrick. There you go. Simple Garrick knows how to take a gripe, turn it into a compliment. Appreciate you, Simple Garrick. Appreciate you. Yeah. All your speech are now belong to us, says Evan. There you go. You are on the way to destruction. Yeah. And it's not the surf rock in the background that's picking up Dinosaur Dave, because it shows me what it is, and it's not that. Sometimes it's like, it'll literally be silent in the background, and it'll be like, oh, some sort of Spider-Man film or something like that. I was getting a lot of like weird Sony stuff. Anyway, yeah. A friend of mine composes music, too. A friend of mine from back in high school. And he's had his stuff copyright flagged before. It's like, these are original compositions. Or sometimes you'll go and you'll find a random YouTube video of, like, somebody singing a song. Maybe it's a child singing a song. I saw this once, and it was like... I think it was Sony. It was like, this is an example that I saw on Twitter of like something getting flagged inappropriately. It was like a girl singing I'm a Little Teacup or something like that. And it's like, yep, this is it's copyright flagged for a Marvel movie or something. What? What? Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. That being said... Oh man, what a great paper. And, pretty happy about that. You know what I'm even happier about, though? Are these gift subs from Dendriform. Thank you, Dendriform.
Dendriform 1491 is getting serious with those 5 gift subs.
Thank you, Dendriform, for your generosity there. There are now 5 more people who will not have to watch the ads. Thanks to you, Dendriform. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate you. They'll also get all those nifty emotes there. Like these, and these, and these, and these. Thanks to your generosity, Dendriform. So thank you, thank you. Thanks for paying forward that gift sub that you got from a doja. That makes me smile. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, with that being said, let me take a look here and, let's see. Give me a second here. Didn't actually have anything planned for, the end of this broadcast. So let's take a look at something else here. Let's take a look at this real quick. We're going to be dipping into some YouTube videos, and of course this is 100% falls under the category of fair use because we're going to be commenting on this from a paleontological perspective. But here's a video right here from a guy who's got almost 1 million subscribers. There is a link right there. And I've heard of this before, the Dinosaur Robot Hostel in Japan. Let's take a look at this. And let's hope this guy doesn't swear or anything like that. And this, again, family-friendly channel here. Let's take a look.
टोक्यो में कल आ गए थे हम डोरेमोन के गांव से टोक्यो 2-2.5 घंटे की बुलेट ट्रेन थी और आज
And I let's see. You know, let's play our music again because shoot. No closed captions here. And I don't speak Hindi or Urdu or something, I'm not even sure. But let's take a look. Let's look at some animatronic dinosaurs. Into this animatronic dinosaur hotel. People were sharing a bunch of stuff about this with me on Twitter a while ago. Okay. Here at the reception desk, we've got some kind of theropod right here. And a stegosaur. This looks like it might be perhaps Kentrosaurus right here. That tail got severed somehow. Yowza. But yeah. What is this supposed to be? And it speaks. Very interesting. Yeah. Is it supposed to be a Dromaeosaur? Hang on. Is that supposed to be a sickle claw right there? I don't think so. I think this is supposed to be like some kind of more basal tetanoran theropod. Something similar to perhaps, shoot, I don't know, Martiasaurus or maybe a Megalosaur, a Neovenator, something like that. Who knows? Yeah. And Dinosaur Robot Hostile is a combination of words I was not expecting, but now want, says Runlar. There you go. Yeah. So I guess this is pretty automated. I guess that's the idea, which is why the reception desk is staffed by animatronic dinosaurs. So many things are automated in Japan like this, with an aging workforce and yeah. Anyway, hang on a minute. Gotta pause at the right moment. Is that a Rudolph nose there on this stegosaur? Looks like probably Kentrosaurus. Kentrosaurus. I'm looking for a decent Kentrosaurus. That's good, except it's in a weird pose. But yeah. There's a nice Kentrosaurus there. Yeah. Oh, boy. Looks like it. We had Rudolph nose. And, oh, kind of lousy clip art there. They could have done better than this. Yeah. More vending machines. Is that a pressed penny machine? Holy cow. Longtime viewers of Paleontologizing know that I myself am a collector of pressed pennies. I'm sure these are not pressed pennies per se. These might be yen coins or something like that. Yeah, it says 100 yen coins. But very, very cool. Oh man, that is pretty neat. I like that a lot. Yeah. Dinosaur Dave says, I gotta get around to send you some of the ones that I have. Dinosaur Dave, I would appreciate that more than you know. Holy cow. But first, I've got to show off the Trurarchunkus Lego that you made for me, Dinosaur Dave. I'll make that happen first. I'll make sure that I do my part, you know? Anyway, that's really neat. Are there good dinosaur fossils from Japan? Japan has got some dinosaur fossils, but they tend to be pretty paltry. As you would expect from an island nation like that. I think most, if not all, the dinosaurs that we have from Japan are from the Cretaceous, and they're, for the most part, relatively fragmentary. The dinosaur that is probably best known from Japan might be Fukuisaurus. Fukuisaurus, which is an iguanodontian dinosaur. One of these kind of beaky, plant-eating dinosaurs. And don't be afraid of its name. No, that's not a cuss word. Fukuisaurus, named after Fukui Prefecture, which is kind of the dinosaur capital of Japan. This is an iguanodontian dinosaur, much like the dinosaurs that I was digging up this past summer in Utah. These guys are all over the place, especially in the early Cretaceous period. Fukuisaurus, yeah, iguanodontians, cool critters. Oh yeah, yeah. I once did an illustration of this animal. Let me see if I can find it. That would be back in probably early 2020 or more, maybe late 2019. Let's see here. Scrolling through trying to find that. Might be in this folder. Fukuisaurus. There we go. So I used, here some background. I used to do a dinosaur illustration every morning for my students back when I was teaching full-time in the classroom. And they would have a little sign-in binder where they would write their name every day, but in order to find the correct spot for that, they would have to know what day of the week it was. And they were just learning their numbers and letters, learning how to read, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, we used to write on the board, the whiteboard every morning, you know, F is for Friday. Look for the one that starts with an F. And this responsibility passed to me, and I started incorporating dinosaurs into this. So there is Fukuisaurus. And the parents would drop the kids off every morning, and yeah, and they would look at this, and they'd admire the dinosaur illustration and everything. For Fukuisaurus, I had to kind of obscure part of that, so that parents didn't try and sound it out and accidentally teach their kids some swear words. So there's Fukuisaurus right there. And yeah. W dinosaurs were always tricky, because there are not many dinosaurs whose genus name starts with W. So, Pachycephalosaurus wyomingensis. I had to go to the species name for that one, for Wednesday. But, yeah. This is a lot of fun. Used to do this each and every morning, back when I was teaching full-time. Yeah. Sometimes I got a little goofy with it too, you know? Trying to hammer home the point that birds are dinosaurs. You know, T is for toucan. Because birds are dinosaurs, you know? So yeah. Yeah. Wintenotitan. I did use Wintenotitan Dinosaur Dave, I think. Yeah. Can I find that one on here somewhere? Where's Wintenotitan? Shoot. I don't know. There's Falcarius for Friday. The dinosaur from the Cedar Mountain Formation, where I was digging this past summer. So anyway. F is probably the only day of the week that I would do. Well, it's second to Wednesday in having very few dinosaurs, and so I had to use a lot of Japanese dinosaurs. Fukuisaurus, Fukuititan, Fukuiraptor. And where's my Fukuiraptor? There's Fukuiraptor. Again, had to cover up that part. All of the dinosaurs from Fukui Prefecture, I had to get creative. And, yeah, here's Fukui Venator. But anyway, yeah. Fukui Venator right here. Hunter of Fukui Prefecture. And now it's thought to be a Therizinosaur? It was thought to be a Dromaeosaur a while ago, wasn't it? Well, interesting. That's very Falcarius-like. Oh, that's super neat. When did that change? Let's see. 2021. So that was after I did that illustration. Again, this is back when it was thought to be a Dromaeosaur. This dinosaur changed since then. In 2021, study determined it was a basal member of Therizinosauridia. Very, very cool. So there's an older Dromaeosaur-like reconstruction. This is what I was working with at the time. So there you go. Yeah. And Fukui Venator has an extra long middle finger. Well, all theropod dinosaurs do for the most part, Charlie's Dragon. Yeah. Whether they're therizinosaurs or dromaeosaurs. Yeah, there you go. That middle finger is longer. I know you're making a joke, Charlie's Dragon, but you're not wrong. You're accidentally correct. Anyway, it is from the Kitadani Formation in Fukui Prefecture in Japan. And we've got a lot of dinosaurs from that formation. Fukuiraptor, Fukuisaurus, Fukui Titan, Fukui Venator, and Fukuiopteryx. And Koshisaurus, too. But yeah. Anyway, Fukuisaurus, right here, is probably the best-known dinosaur from this formation. It's an iguanodontian. Or maybe a basal hadrosauroid? What is it? Interesting. Might be a basal hadrosauroid, yeah. But Bertoso et al. Recovered as a non-hadrosauroid styracosternum. Interesting. But there is a lovely skeletal mount of this animal, Fukuisaurus. Probably the best-known dinosaur from Japan. So there you go. On the subject of Japanese dinosaurs, there's probably your best one right there. And most of the skeleton is known from what I understand. Oops. Fukuisaurus, skeletal diagram. There we no, different animal. Anyway, I think we've gotten most of this critter at this point. There's dinosaurs, yeah, from Fukui Prefecture. Yeah. Anyway. So it is definitely an herbivorous dinosaur. Yes, Psychoanalyst. Yes, indeed. An iguanodontian dinosaur. Would have looked like this. Not the biggest iguanodontian. Certainly not. There it is compared to a dog. But yeah. Yeah, Fukuisaurus. Lovely herbivorous beak right there at the front. Thumb claws, probably. Most of these guys had thumb claws. Most of the iguanodontians had thumb claws. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway. About the size of a big horse? There you go, Tarquin, yeah. Yeah. And they probably got bigger than this, too. Thing is, most dinosaur skeletons that we have are not full grown. So these critters are probably, Uh-oh. Was that a print error? Or is my print done? Let's go take a look. I heard a beep. Huh. Oh no, print fan error. Still print. Okay, I think we're good. Sometimes it does that on occasion. It'll just decide, oh yeah, I'm going to do a print fan error right now, and then it does. But yeah. Yeah. Our intervertebral discs for our Triceratops tail should be done pretty soon. Let me see how much time is left, actually. "30 minutes exactly. Very, very nice. And diagonal.
70 million-year-old dinosaur eggs, and they're perfectly preserved. Cool.
Diagonal, thank you so much for the 23 months of support. Really, really appreciate that. That's almost a whole year, isn't it? Anyway, thank you, Diagonal, honestly. Earnestly. For for your support over the past 23 months. It's a long time. Thanks for keeping me here on the air. Appreciate you, Diagonal. How you doing, by the way? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. This should be done in half an hour. And let's go back to this video right here. Rooms in these hostel. We want to go back to... We want to see more dinosaurs, please. There's these guys again. Okay. I guess they're checking out of the hotel now. And what is it saying? Pretty wild. Pretty wild stuff. Dinosaur Hotel, Japan.
Hello. Yeah. I like the little hat. Look at that. That's style.
So we've got feathers on this dinosaur here. Come on now.
Than a conventional hotel lobby.
This might be a different place. It looks very different, actually. Up. Or maybe not. It's hard to tell. Maybe there's multiple. Anyway, I do like that you don't have the pronated wrists on this Dromaeosaur. It's actually got its wrists in the proper orientation. And it's got feathers, too. A little bit old-fashioned. It should have big flight feathers coming off of its arms right there, which it doesn't. But still, you know, not the worst. Really not the worst. Interesting stuff. And they've got robotic fish in there, too, apparently. Huh. Anyway, very interesting stuff. Yeah. The attempt is worth it, says Helix Fossil? Sure. Yeah. But anyway. And smaller time frames like years and months give him trouble, Kennedy. It's a joke, Kennedy. It's a joke. I know there's 12 months in a year. That's a running joke on this channel. Anyway. You know it is? Okay, cool. But yeah, anyway. I think, on that note, it's about time to wrap up this broadcast. This is going to be done in about 30 minutes. I'm going to get to work on these tonight. And, yeah. I've got some other science stuff that I've got to accomplish. It's about time to wrap up this broadcast, I think. It's been a good stream. That paper is really excellent. Really, really glad we were able to learn about seriemas, and really glad that some paleontologists are looking at modern creatures and their behavior as proxies for extinct dinosaurs and their behavior. I may have several papers in that exact same vein coming out this year, so stay tuned for that. Very excited to see other people kind of on the same train there. It's good stuff. Comrades in arms there. Excellent. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and commence our wrap-up procedure for the evening. There we go. We'll run our credits over this Archaeopteryx there. And, let's see who else is doing some science on Twitch right now, and we'll see if we can go raid them. Don't go running away, everybody. Not just yet. Let's see who else is doing some science. What about California Burbs? Is it dark there yet where they are? Ooh, we're gonna go say hello to California Burbs. And see some modern theropod dinosaurs in their natural habitat. Right before the sun goes down there in Central California. Yeah. Thank you, everybody whose name has appeared in the credits there. Gifters and cheerers and subscribers and moderators and lurkers and viewers and chatters and everybody. I am deeply grateful that I can try and do my best to bring science to you every weekday. Thank you for your support and your attention, and hope to see you again tomorrow for another exciting paleontology stream. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? I suspect probably some dinosaur deep dives, maybe some more fossil news. We'll see what gets published. But until then, everybody, you take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And let's go check out some California Burbs, shall we? I'll see you there, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.